Hey everybody.
What's up, Tram?
Hey tramily.
How you doing?
Everybody's doing. Who knows?
We're all doing. We're swimming. We're swimmingly. We're doing swimmingly.
We're walking. That's what we're doing.
We're floating. We're staying afloat. What's going on? So, First off, let us tell you who we are and what you're listening to.
If you don't know.
If you don't know already. We are Yeti Legs.
And we are Basecamp.
This is our podcast, Yeti Walks into Basecamp.
Talking.
Through.
Hiking.
We are your hosts, Yeti Legs and Basecamp.
Basecamp.
Uh-huh. Basecamp.
You took my name.
I did. By the time this comes out, you'll have already heard week 24-ish.
Which
of the PCT.
Was very interesting.
It was very rabbit hole.
I think our banter was great in it.
We had great banter. We didn't get through the entire banter. We didn't get through an entire week of the PCT because we were devastated that Tumbleweed was not there with us.
As all of you will hear in the podcast,
we say it
20 times.
20 times, yeah.
Like, oh man, Tumbleweed should be here. Like, I think Wesley was getting choked up because he was so sad.
Man, whatever.
The Tumbleweed was not a part of that episode. And so, without further ado,
we have Tumbleweed on this episode with us. Tumbleweed, what's up?
Hello, everybody.
Hello, world.
Yes.
Hello, world. Tumbleweed, where are you zooming in from right now?
I'm in Stewart, Tennessee.
Middle of
nowhere.
In a house that you recently just bought.
That's true. I finally bought a house.
How's it feel?
A strange feeling.
Yeah? That's fair. That's fair.
It's kind of nice, but, buying a house kind of makes you feel trapped and it comes with its own issues. That's for sure. You have to start really thinking, how do I do this long distance thing while managing to pay bills and stuff? So
yeah,
I guess the phrase to use here is savings account. You need to have a savings account.
We have a savings account.
We do.
I feel like buying a house, it feels like you're in this space of, this is like, it's like a solid, like we haven't bought a house yet. And I think it's because we know when we do, it's like, okay, we're locking in. Like we're doing life in a different way.
Yeah.
And it's hard. But at the same time though, Tumbleweed, Wesley and I have been thinking about this, and maybe you have some thoughts. It's like, what if we bought a house though, and then it was able to set us up to rent, to then go and do a through hike? Like, has that ever crossed your mind?
This was a conversation I was having earlier. It was, how do I set myself up for the CDT? And it was, hey, there are renters out there. Mm-hmm. And fortunately for me, my son's almost 18. So hopefully when he graduates, he can just move in and take care of it while I'm gone.
Dude.
There it is.
As far as paying for it, that's fine. But somebody's got to take care of it too while I'm gone.
Uh-huh.
I think that would be the hard thing too, is like the management of a house. Yeah.
But yeah, get to mow my grass on Saturday. It feels weird.
Yeah.
Wow, you've become the Leave It to Beaver over there.
Y'all can't see Tumbleweed, but he's sitting here drinking a beer and smoking a cigar right now.
With his headphones on.
Yeah. That I borrowed from my son.
You borrowed from your son. They're gamer headphones, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah. Xbox headphones. Yeah.
I love that so much.
It's pretty great.
Well, do you want to do the drink of the choice?
I think we definitely should.
Let's do it.
Tumbleweed, I said you're drinking a beer. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Miller Genuine High Draft.
Oh.
Yeah?
It's definitely a beer.
It's a beer.
Wait, is this like, so you know how Coors Light has Coors Banquet? Is this like the other side of Miller's Light? It's like a premium beer.
It's cheap. But I will be having a few shots of Patron during this, so.
Hey,
as you should.
There you go.
I felt like there are a few Lil Jon songs to talk about this.
Should we take shots too in this episode, or is that a bad idea?
Cider and then shots of whiskey.
I guess we'd get sick, wouldn't we? Probably would get sick. I can't do much alcohol, I feel like, as much as I used to.
Look, one of the worst memories that I have from my college years.
Oh, I thought you were about to talk about the Cascade Locks when you got trashed with tumbleweed.
Oh, we'll still talk about that. I didn't know what a mixed drink was, really. I'd only ever drank like really cheap beer or $3 bottles of wine that were like heavily sweetened and syrupy. So I went to a friend's house and he had a bottle of brandy. And he's like, Wes, go to the grocery store and buy a mixer to go with this. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what goes with brandy. So I was like, well, brandy's kind of a brown color and apple juice is kind of a brown color. And so I got a bottle of apple juice and we mixed the entire bottle of brandy with the whole bottle of apple juice.
Oh.
And I have never been so trashed in my life. We went to the movie theater to watch like a really old, I think it was a Conan the Barbarian movie or something. And I passed out in the theater and they had to drive me home and they had to carry me up my parents' front yard and put me into my bed. I was completely blacked.
You don't even remember?
I don't even remember. No, I don't.
Oh my gosh.
I was told all this the next day. Yeah, it was horrible.
My bad one was also in high school. I feel like high school is the time, right, where you do the stupidest shit. But I had drank, I mixed my liquors because I didn't know any better. No one ever really told me, don't mix your liquors. And so I drank like 5 margaritas. And then I drank probably a Smirnoff. And then someone made me a damn White Russian. Some guy that was trying to get in my pants. And it was a group party. Like there were like 15 people there. But he makes me a White Russian. And I'm like, I shouldn't turn it down. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what a White Russian was. And I drank it. And then all I remember is passing out on a couch. And then I wake up at like, I think it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I need to vomit so bad. And I am like seeing 4 of everything. My head's spinning. And I try to make it to the bathroom. And the next thing I know, I projectile vomit all over this bathroom with this people I don't even know. Like the place we went, the apartment we were at, I don't even know them hardly. Like they're acquaintances of mine. And I projectile vomited all over their bathroom. And I tried to clean it up in my drunken stupor.
Yeah.
Apparently I didn't, because I left the next morning before anyone got up, I think because I was so embarrassed. I've never talked to any of these people ever again either. But come to find out, a mutual friend knows these people. And they, like 5 years later, I tell the story and they were like, oh yeah, you're that girl.
You're the person.
They said, yeah, they had to throw away their bath mat.
Let me tell you, if you want to get into a girl's pants, there's nothing better than giving her a milk-based cocktail after she's been drinking all night.
Yeah, great idea. Really get her wasted. Oh, that was so bad.
Like that.
Yeah.
I know, right?
And then I proceeded to vomit for the next 2 days because I had alcohol poisoning. Good job. Never again.
Oh my god.
You have one tumbleweed?
Oh, $10 gallon McCormick when I was in high school as well.
Oh my god.
Me and my buddy thought it'd be a good idea to try and drink as much of it as we could. And yeah, I ended up throwing up all over the place and woke up out in the woods by a pond somewhere.
That sounds like a beast mode story.
No clue how I got there. I miss that dude too.
Oh my gosh. Wait, what are we drinking?
Oh, we're drinking
the same thing.
It's called the Joker. I don't. You bought it. I don't know. It's a dry apple cider out of California.
Yeah. So ever since 1993, they've been a cidery.
I know.
Oh, that rhymes.
3 grams of carbs and 3 grams of sugar.
1 gram of carb.
No, it's 1% of your daily carbs.
Was it 3 grams of carbs?
It's 3 and 3.
Sorry.
But it's 7% alcohol, so it's super dangerous.
It's very dangerous, and it's not super sweet. Mm-hmm. It almost tastes like a sour apple. at first when you start drinking it, and then you continue to drink it just like you do alcohol, and it starts growing on you, and you're like, oh, this isn't so bad.
This is giving me PTSD from my brandy apple juice days.
Is that what made you think about it?
I think so.
Oh no.
So those are drinks of the choice. Oh my gosh. Good times.
Good times. Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to you,
It's good to see
Tumbleweed.
you, man.
Finally
Cheers
getting you
to
on
you.
this damn podcast at the very freaking end of it.
To paint a picture of Tumbleweed, let's start from the beginning. Tumbleweed was never even a thought until his parents came. No, not that. The PCT is when we first met Tumbleweed. We were getting into Scissors Crossing, which is basically where you get a hitch into the town of Julian if you're going north. This is in the desert. Julian is the first town you get to. We were approaching Scissors Crossing. This guy with a knee brace is hiking up behind us.
Very
and
fast.
he's like very quickly approaching us.
And I was
I'm
like,
like,
who the
who
fuck
the
is this
fuck?
guy? Which we do tell this whole story, by the way, at the beginning of our...
We
like,
do.
Tumbleweed is kind of integrated through all of our episodes in some way or another.
Uh-huh. And so Tumbleweed is this white guy. He's got short brown hair. He's got this longish looking beard. It varies in
It's
length
grown.
based on the times that we've seen him.
Uh-huh.
But so he ended up getting a ride with us into the town of Julian because we'd gotten a gal to come pick us up because it was Marie's birthday.
Mhm.
So we were going to celebrate Julian. And kind of from there, the rest is a bit history. We talked a little bit to him on the ride to Julian. Don't really see him in the town. But then we see him again at Montezuma. And apparently we had made some impression on you because you were like, you guys are like the quintessential like couple to model relationships off of. And you were saying this on the second time that I'd ever met you. So I'm like, I guess we made an impact.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I can't remember who Basecamp was talking to.
I think it was
But-
Razor.
It might have been Razor. And she had asked you what's the best thing about Yeti. And without like missing a beat, you were like, his butt and his legs. And I was like, this chick's really about her man, that's for sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then
That's hilarious.
I remember later on coming up on an argument you guys were having, and I was like, you guys are arguing? Like, you guys are just having a conversation. It's like the most mild PG version of a fight I've ever seen in my life. And then you're like,
Okay.
we got to take a kiss break. I was like, man, these people love each other.
Right?
I was like, yeah, we need to connect after this intense moment that we had. Okay, which leads me, Tumbleweed, to this question. Because when you came up on us having that disagreement, I thought it was when we ran back into you right before Goat Rocks. But
Was.
Wesley thinks it was the next day after we camped at Goat Rocks when you ran into us having that disagreement. But I thought it was the day before when we ran into you because we hadn't seen you in a while. And all of a sudden we came upon you. But that was my memory. Do you remember? Because we had a disagreement about it.
I bet it was very G-rated. But yeah, it was the day before. Because the day after we went down the knife's edge, and then we'd made it to White's Pass.
White Pass, yeah.
And that's where you guys went to Seattle. But the day before, actually, I think it was the day we made it up to Goat Rocks.
Yeah.
That I ran into you guys because I was going to try and push a 50 that day.
Yeah. And you were talking us into trying to push it with you.
I was.
Hell yeah. What are you going to give me for winning that?
I'll give you a foot massage later.
Okay.
That works out. All right. So you won that one. Oh
Thank
my
you.
gosh.
You should listen to our podcast before this one that's going to release tomorrow because we have a whole conversation about this Tumbleweed. And I'm like, I swear, Wesley. And he goes, no. And I'm like, we just need to ask Tumbleweed.
Honestly. Oh my God. So
Yes.
Julian, Tumbleweed back at Montezuma. We hike with you a little bit in the San Jacinto area. Meet back up at Big Bear Lake. Have some drinks with you and your tramily. And where one of your tramily had to get evac out, right?
Razor did.
That was Razor.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was right before the climb into Big Bear. She had a mini stroke. And
Yeah.
that was that was a hard night because everything that was in me like started like firing up. I was like, okay, and I'm starting to treat this like it's a medevac trying to get somebody out of combat and stuff. I'm like trying to get her to the bird and everything. And then Cougar and we ended up racing back to, I think it was the Whitewater Preserve, where we got a ride to where she was at. And we ended up making sure she was good. But yeah, that was a rough night, Cougar. But we did have this joke the whole time on the way up there where we were like, whoop, whoop, it's the sound of the police. And then when she got in the helicopter, she was like, hey, can you do the whoop, whoop thing for him?
Oh.
And so when they were flying off, they did it. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
To give people context, by the way, that are listening. So Tumbleweed was a part of a tramily when we met him. That was Cougar 0 is what we called him.
Razor.
And then Razor, another girl. And to describe them, Razor's like, I think she was like early 20s.
Blonde hair, nurse.
She was a nurse?
She was
was she a physical therapist?
Physical therapist.
But she like had some medical background and super bubbly personality.
And she would not tolerate my sex jokes at all.
No, she shut those down so fast every time. And she grew up super Christian, super evangelical Christian. Just to give context to these people, you know, when we mention certain things. But and then Cougar 0 was in his 30s-ish, I'd guess.
We're all black. Everything he had was black.
He'd always wear black, but he was super fast hiker. But was just a jolly person, like just really had a very kumbaya personality to him. And that you guys named him Cougar 0 because
on the way to Scissors Crossing, he had come up on this cougar that was on trail, and it was growling at him and hissing at him, making all sorts of noises. And when he got to Scissors, he was telling us about it, and somebody had said, sounds like Cougar 0, Andy 1. And so it all became Cougar 0 after that, shortened to Cougar.
Love it.
And then a funny thing about his name is we were in Idlewild, and somebody had come up, and she was like a florist or something, and we introduced ourselves using trail names, obviously, and she goes, oh, I'm a bit of a cougar too.
Oh my God.
I was like, go on, cougar. He's like, no, he had a girlfriend. His girlfriend was cool as hell too.
Right on.
Did you get to meet his girlfriend?
I did.
Aww.
Sweet.
She played a big part in my life too. That was kind of in the like 3 hours that I saw her. Well, I stayed the night, but that night, yeah, she convinced me to stop smoking weed. I was like,
whoa, we didn't hear about any of this. Do you mind sharing?
Oh, when I got off trail and made it back to Harts Pass, I went to Seattle, and I ended up staying with Cougar. I think the second night I was in Seattle, and I was going out to smoke on their patio because Washington's legal and everything's fine. Yeah. And she started talking about how her life had come to a point where she didn't need, you know, any kind of anything to help her live, and she was actually just like living life sober and clean. And I was like, man, this is like that little kid all over again, where I had that moment. It's like, man, stop being a bitch and start living. And I was like, okay. So I would say that I quit then, but it wasn't until I got back to Tennessee and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. And the first 2 weeks, I was like, you know, all the things that were in your head that run around that you tried to run away from, but, you know, they started coming back. But I was like, I'm getting stronger. I'm getting stronger. I'm getting stronger. And I started thinking like all the mountains. But yeah, she definitely convinced me to stop smoking and to at least try to live a little bit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not saying that I won't smoke if I get it back on trail, because let's be real, it helps.
Yeah.
Dude, I've started taking weed gummies. I cannot do them while I'm hiking. I did this yesterday. I only took 2 milligrams tumbleweed, and we were hiking, and I was so dizzy, and I was like, "This sucks."
We were climbing a pass for 3.5 miles.
Nope.
And she was, yeah.
I looked at Wesley. I was like, "Don't ever let me take a weed gummy again when I'm hiking." So then that night, I took like 3 milligrams that night because I was like, I am wide awake and I need to pass out. And dude, I passed out. I was done.
She
I was
slept
like,
fine.
and I sleep great.
I was up hearing all the critters running around our tent all day.
I was like completely asleep, and he'd be like, "Did you hear that?" And I'm like, "Huh? What?" Like, I have no idea what's happening.
To clarify for everyone, where Tumbleweed said he got off the trail was Hart's Pass, which is basically the last spot you can get off of the PCT heading north before you get to the end of it.
Or if you finish, we had to go back to Hart's Pass to get out of the trail. Was the first place you could get out after you actually touched the terminus. And so, also, if you hear that noise,
he's lighting a cigar.
It's amazing, honestly.
Two things that I think we need to touch on before we go any further is, if you're okay talking about it, I think everyone, including ourselves, would love to hear a little bit about your military background. And we'd love to know how the heck you got your name Tumbleweed.
So, I joined the Army back in 2008, and I was 11 Bravo, which is infantry, and was deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. Iraq was a beautiful place. I got to have chai with some people, this guy named Fat Muhammad. That was kind of cool. And it taught me to like build relationships with people that you wouldn't normally build relationships with. And then probably set a whole bunch of things in motion with like brief encounters and meeting people briefly and, you know, developing relationships that way. And then I would deploy to Afghanistan, and I think Afghan was definitely a different beast in and of itself. It was, you know, you lose friends, you watch friends get hurt, and it starts to mess with you. So I did 6.5 years before I was medically retired with, you know, all the fun stuff that comes with being a soldier who's dealt with that kind of stuff. And for like 8 years after that, I lived in that, you know, this state of panic and uncertainty and, you know, just discomfort. And I ended up working at this ranch that paired abused and neglected animals with abused and neglected children. And here I am like, oh, I've done all this crazy stuff. But this little one, her parents had pimped her out to all their friends, and she developed selective mutism. And she had said hi to me, and her therapist told me, like, it's the first time she said hi to anybody in a while, like, that she didn't know. And I remember going home, and I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, quit being a bitch. It's time to live your fucking life. And I started finding out like what I liked, and started looking at different trails and, you know, just going out and day hikes and stuff. And then I looked on all trails and I was like, what's the hardest trail I could do? And there's the PCT. And I watched that one grow and develop friendships, and being able to communicate and like recover from the trauma that one had been through. And it made me think, okay, yeah, I watched my friends bleed. I was able to save some of them, and I was able to be a part of that. And when I got to trail, I was like, all right, I'm here for the Great Reset. And, you know, the hardest thing about going out somewhere to heal is that the healing process is never beautiful. It's not romantic. It's ugly. It hurts, and it affects the people around you for sure. So a little backstory.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
That's really powerful.
When was your first attempt on the PCT?
Oh yeah, how'd I get my name? So my first attempt, I made it 17.7 miles, and it was in 2021. I was climbing out of, what's that gorge called? It's like the first one too.
Yeah,
but
I don't remember.
I was climbing out of that. There was ice, and I slipped, and I ended up taking a little tumble down this area that was not so comfortable, and I ended up hurting my lower back. And I was carrying 55 pounds in an Osprey pack, carrying just about anything and everything you think you'd need.
Yeah.
I was like, I got this. I know what I'm doing. Shit, I didn't know what I was doing. And so I ended up going back to Tennessee. I went to the Smokies, and I started retraining and got a hyperlight pack, lightened my load, significantly. I think I got down to like 19 pounds, 20 pounds. And then I was like,
nice.
Cool. And I came back the following year. I was like, let's do this.
Mm-hmm. So just to emphasize, you slipped on ice in the Southern California desert.
That's true.
So
you wouldn't think it's there.
You wouldn't think it's there, but it's there.
It is.
And it does snow there.
In March, you're still in a weird season.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember you saying, I think you briefly mentioned this whenever we were hiking together in the PCT in 22, that on your first attempt, you took all this like videography equipment because you were going to be the most badass YouTuber you could be for the trail.
Oh, yeah. I took everything. I was like, I could do it too.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what is it? What's the line? If she could do some shit, I could do some shit.
Yeah.
Yes, we want to get that on a t-shirt or something. We even say it still now. Tumbleweed will like quote you and be like, if you can do some shit, I can do some shit.
Right. Before we keep going with like the tail, so the PCT, you found it on all trails. I remember you said you had like some hikers that you would follow on YouTube, and they kind of like helped you with the process and inspire you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who were they? I think I know one of them.
Oh, you definitely know one of them. So there's, the ones that everybody knows. You got Darwin and Dixie.
Jupiter
and Jupiter I watched a little bit, but the main one was Rocket. Like, she inspired the hell out of me. She was a former Air Force military, and I was like, I watched her AT, and I was like, that's pretty dope. And I got the luck of meeting her on the PCT and made a complete ass of myself, But such is life.
Yeah. So Rocket is actually short for her full name. Her full trail name is not Rocket.
She's a cool person.
She was.
She was nice.
We met her in SoCal.
Climbing up Cajon Pass.
Her
and her boyfriend.
Yeah, and at some point, Tumbleweed and her crossed paths, and Tumbleweed had a huge crush on her. And he said some dumb shit.
Didn't you step on glass too or something?
Man, it was ridiculous. Like, the whole situation was just ridiculous. Like, I swear I could talk to people, but if I got some sort of attraction, I'm like, hi. But yeah, I had to pee, so I ran across these rocks, and I ended up cutting I think my pinky toe it was. I was like, dang. But when I came back, I heard her voice. I was like, I know that voice. I got a picture with her too, so that was pretty cool.
Oh.
We did like the back-to-back arms crossed thing. It was cool.
Nice.
But
did you say that if she can do some shit? Did you say it to her?
I did. I said, oh man. So I saw her and I was like, so I'm here because I saw that you could do some shit, so I could do some shit.
That is a t-shirt.
Forever live on.
Man.
I still have that sticker design. I need to have those printed out.
Honestly, they really do need to be a hat, stickers, t-shirt.
Right on. So you came back to the PCT in 22. You're inspired. You had a failed attempt in 21. We met you and Julian, saw you again in Montezuma, and we really didn't run across you that much after the Jacintos until I think
it was Wrightwood.
Was it Wrightwood a little bit, and then the Kennedy Meadows South? I think we saw you.
You guys left the day before I got to KM South.
Okay.
Yeah, because you were with the other crew. It was Roy G. Were you with Roy G and?
I was with
our
Raccoon, Chief.
Yes.
Razor.
All You Can Eat.
He was there too.
Was he there?
That dude was funny.
That's right. Because we left the exact day you guys got in
right.
because we saw Chief
and All You Can Eat
as we're literally departing from within the truck, and they're coming up the trail, and we see him. So we yell for Chief, and he told us he was gonna go into San Fran, and we're like, dude, don't do it. Like, just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if you feel scared, just keep going. Like, and then I think he ended up going into San Fran, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you continued on.
Yeah, Razor and I continued on. Roy G and Chief
And Raccoon and Chief.
all went to San Fran.
Did we ever see y'all in the Sierras?
I don't think we crossed in the Sierras.
No, but we did cross in Bishop.
That's right.
Yes, because that's when we met Tohi, and we all had hamburgers together at Shat's
Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Roadhouse.
Because you guys were coming in. You had just done Kenosha, I think, and we had just done the other one that came into Bishop. So we were like only, 5 days? We were somewhere in 5 to 6 days in the like missing each other. But I know you started clocking miles.
Dude.
Yeah, there was a time.
It's amazing how many miles you could blow through in a day.
Isn't it? I think about that now. I'm like, it's funny because there's that book, Through Hiking Will Break Your Heart, where she talks about,
Quinn,
hikers, we could hike all day and we'll go fast on the trail, but get us into town and we hate walking.
Absolutely. You're a through hiker when.
It's true.
Don't make me walk 0.2 miles to the grocery store. Excuse me, is there some sort of car?
Like, are you crazy?
That's my favorite thing too, is when you go into town and people are like, oh yeah, it's just like, it's so close. Like it's only like, it's just right over there. And you're like, this is not right over there. This is a mile walk. And that is a mile I do not want to walk.
Exactly. Because that means 2 miles both ways.
Right.
So we didn't really see you much in the Sierras, not much in NorCal that I recall.
No.
Right?
I don't think I saw you at all in NorCal.
No, because you were behind us.
I was.
Same with Oregon.
Did you hit the big fire that blew up in NorCal and Syed Valley, Tumbleweed, or did you get past it?
It started the day after I got to Ashland. And I was thinking about that, honestly last week, how when I got to Ashland, I looked back and I saw all the flames and I was like, man, you'll never, like, all the stuff that I got to see, all the beauty, all the wildlife, everything that I saw there is gone. And for what reason, I don't know, but it's gone. And
that's how we feel with the Arizona fires right now.
Yeah.
I bet.
The fires, they just rip my heart out. Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out how we can become advocates of this and advocates of change for this, because we all know as through hikers, when we see fires of those scales, this is going to change the entire environment for all of the animals. It's not going to be the same for a very, very long time. And these are fires on a scale that shouldn't be there. It's just all breaks our hearts because we get to experience and walk the earth in such a special way and get to bond with, the trees. And I was like, I hate to sound so hippy dippy, but you really do. You bond with the trees, you bond with the animals. I talk to the animals when we're walking, and then you see these fires come through and ravage just all of this beautiful life. And it's just heartbreaking. So we're trying, I don't know what it looks like yet for us. Like, we started this environmental corner in the podcast to try to raise awareness for how is the environment impacted right now on a real level. But
the problem is that the root cause of all these problems we're seeing and environmental issues that we're experiencing is humankind, and no one wants to hear that they're the problem. So how do you communicate that without making people feel guilty or want to just disconnect from the issue at hand? It's a tough subject to approach.
Tough cookie to crack.
Especially in this climate, for sure.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
Tell me about it.
We've lost so many followers because of this.
It is what it is, So we get to Oregon and we still don't really see you, but at some point you had told us a story, Tumbleweed, about how you had been engaged and this gal really screwed you over and you got a really expensive, like $14,000 to $16,000 engagement ring, and you threw it in Crater Lake, which is a national park in Oregon.
If you don't know what that is, go look it up.
You threw it in the lake. So
I left no trace.
Did you go and get it eventually?
Listen, I can't confirm or deny that. Treasure hunters forever will love that. Yeah,
Jesus,
I definitely did, and that was 3 years before I. That was 2 years before I attempted. I was in 2020. I was heartbroken and, oh, poor me, you know, kind of thing. And so I needed to go clear my mind. So I drove from Dallas to Crater Lake. And
wait, why Crater Lake?
I don't know. It was beautiful. I saw it and it was far away. And I was like, I want to go see this. And I'm so glad I didn't say anything. Like, sometimes I'm really lucky that I don't post so much on like social medias, because at the time I probably would have said, oh, this place was hit by a comet and that's why it's Crater Lake, instead of realizing that it was a volcano. But yeah, I got there and I walked around and I spent about a week there just trying to let my mind work out what had happened and try to get right before I went back. And definitely threw in a very expensive ring somewhere I definitely didn't do.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this and you like to look for buried treasure,
don't go looking at Crater Lake.
You might find something.
Right.
God, Tumbleweed, don't be a little bitch.
I bet there's a lot.
For certain.
I bet there's a lot of buried treasure underneath Crater Lake. Let's be honest.
I bet there's some bodies in there too.
Oh God, I'd rather not. But I bet you're not the first person to throw a ring into Crater Lake.
Dude, that park's closed right now, isn't it? For X number of years.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
they're doing like
it was closed
upgrades
just
or something.
Was it upgrades or was it funding?
I don't know. Honestly, I just know it's closed.
I don't know.
Who knows? Methinks.
Oh, anyway.
And then the story of Tumbleweed comes back really for us in Washington. Like,
it was Oregon too.
So Cascade Locks, which I consider part of Washington and not really part of Oregon. I know it's technically in Oregon, but you know.
Wait, didn't we see you in Timberline Lodge? Did we? Or did we not? Maybe we just texted with you.
I think we
were
texted.
texting.
If we'd have seen you in Timberline Lodge, you'd have been the guy running around with the axe in your hand, is what I think.
I got to hold that axe. I was so happy about it.
We did too. It was awesome.
Yeah, Timberline Lodge is where the axe from The Shining is housed. The Here's Johnny axe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
pretty
quite
awesome.
iconic. But yes, Cascade Locks is when we truly ran back into you after months of not seeing you, but texting you and still staying in touch. Like, yeah. And then we had an awesome reunion.
An awesome reunion. And I was hung the fuck over next day. All I remember is I took a picture of you eating Pop-Tarts in a computer chair in Azul's room. And by the time we woke up the next morning, you were gone.
You were gone.
I'm like, how did he bounce back so quick?
Oh, man. It surprises everybody. No.
Here's my question, though, Tumbleweed. Did you sleep in the chair or did you sleep on the floor eventually?
Oh, no. I have my sleeping pad. I think it was under the desk area.
So we're in Cascade Locks in a small room. It's Marie, it's me, it's Azul. This is her room, so it's her bed. And it's Tumbleweed, and Tumbleweed sleeps under the desk. Good job.
Well done.
At least the bathroom floor would have been cooler.
Oh, man. I was fine.
I mean, it feels like a tent a little bit because you got a little bit coverage, you know.
And the problem,
that's what it was. I needed that overhead safety.
I blame all this on you, to be honest, because you were actually moonlighting for one of the breweries in town. And they were supplying you free beer, and you brought it.
You brought us a lot of beer.
All this damn free beer.
That's right. So I was doing, I was hanging sheetrock for the guy who owned the brewery there, and he's like, "I'll pay you in however much, and then free beer." So he gave me 2 or 3 racks of beer. I remember trying to carry that all the way over there too. That was so heavy. I was like, "This is definitely not ultralight."
Never.
That's hilarious.
Cascade Locks.
And then we ended up drinking all that at this other bar that was closed in the back on the picnic table.
It's a pizza place.
Yeah.
It was a pizza place. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That was funny.
Yeah, they'd already closed down, and I think we asked them. We were like, "Can we just hang out here?"
The guys were probably just ready to go home anyways. They were like,
they
whatever.
Didn't care.
At that point. Cascade Locks was a lot of fun, though. But you stayed there as we continued to hike on. You stayed there for a few more days to work, and
I did.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, you started doing some crazy miles.
Yeah.
30s, right?
In
You were in the
Washington.
30s world.
Yeah, I was pulling 35s. It was like, just, whatever.
No big
This
deal.
guy.
No big deal.
And then I got a 38 and I was really happy about that.
Nice.
And I tried to do it again. I think I have maybe 3 38s the whole time,
Ooh.
but
That's still something.
it was fun. I was just going, listening to books. Really, you learn so much time to just listen to stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to most of the Outlander series on the PCT
He did.
and The Hobbit
Yeah, I
and
remember
Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that's right. You guys used to sing all the time. I can go the distance.
Oh my gosh. I swear that is like the most perfect Thru Hikers theme song. Is if you listen to it, it's the Hercules song from Disney. I can go the distance.
I can go the distance.
I am on my way.
I'll make it there somehow.
I mean, truly, like if you listen to the words, I know every mile will be worth my while.
I know every mile will be worth my while.
Whoa, okay, Wesley, look at you
I
singing.
could go most anywhere to find where Marie belongs.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, that. Do you remember a
Serenading
drastic
voice.
change? What's that?
That serenading voice you got there.
Oh,
I
you know, that's
know.
how I won her over.
Honey butter.
Honey butter voice.
That is how he won me over, actually.
Do you remember a drastic change in terrain whenever you crossed the Columbia River Bridge of the Gods into Washington? Because I remember Oregon is definitely Oregon. It's like dense old
Flat.
forest. But as soon as you get into Washington, it's like tropical jungle. And
Yeah.
it's like really steep climbs. Do you remember that too?
I do. And I remember because when I left Cascade Locks and got over, I remember staying not too far. I ended up throwing up that night, and there was this guy sleeping next to me, named Poseidon, and he's like, "There's nothing I could do for you, man." I was like, "Yeah, I just gotta throw it up." But yeah, I was definitely hungover. And then once we started getting into the climbs, they were rough. But who was it? Mach 5. I ended up running into Mach 5 again, and that
Yes.
day it rained so bad. Like it was, because I lived in Seattle for like 6 years, that area. I lived in Bremerton, but I had only dealt with like the mist rain. But I gotten up there's like waterfalls going down the trail, and Mach 5 was like, sometimes it be like this.
It'd be that way.
But yeah, the climbs were definitely steeper and longer. That was for sure.
Mhm.
I was going through our PCT days, and I don't know if anyone knows this, but I've got a spreadsheet, and I'll like have each day, I'll do the mileage and the vert gain that we did and like notes so that we can go back and recollect what happened that day.
It's like we changed roles.
Yeah. And whenever we get to Washington, we're hitting like 4,000 to 6,000 vert gain every single day. And I'm like, good God, like we were blowing through some climbs out there.
I really think, though, that it, like, everything you do on the trail up to that point prepares you for Washington.
And then
It's
you
like-
have the Sobowers, and they're just like thrown into the frying pan from the beginning.
Right.
I feel so bad for Sobowers. That's hard. Like,
Yeah.
to start in Washington would be a massive test. Because it's
Honestly.
like, I think if you can get through Washington, if you're going Sobo, you'll get through the rest.
Yeah, 'cause by the time I got to Washington, you definitely got your legs already. There's
Dude, honestly.
like, as far as the climbs being like steep and hard, I was still pushing 30s like through those, and I was like, man, there's no way I could have done this to start off 30s.
No.
Whew.
No
Even
way.
15 miles a day for sure.
Right. If that.
Yeah.
And so all this takes us to where the last week kind of left off. We had ran back into Tumbleweed just
When we were having a disagreement.
when we were having this disagreement that he talked about, just
Oh,
before
shit.
Getting to the Goat
Just
Rocks
broke
area.
this chair, sorry.
He just broke the chair.
I don't know what's happened. Okay, anyway.
So we reunite before Goat Rocks, and then we decide to hike together. He's talked us into doing like a 40+ mile day.
For us.
We've
yeah.
never done this in our life except for the 24-hour challenge.
And we were like, fuck it,
We're
let's
like,
do it.
Let's give it a go, Beast mode's over there tripping on shrooms, laying in the creek, trying to cool.
You remember that, Tumbleweed?
I do. I think that dude was overheating. He was just sitting in the I gotta cool down, man. I gotta cool down.
He just flat out laid in the creek.
It's amazing.
It was amazing.
And we like recounted these days in our last episode, but we want to kind of go back through them with you
because we want to hear your side of it too.
And before we get into it, I'm gonna go get another beer.
Get me one too, then.
We're on our last one.
What?
We have white wine.
Oh, we do. I'll do white wine then.
White wine. Okay.
Oh God, I might get sick.
If y'all want to start this, I'll go grab this and be right back.
Okie dokie. Let's get into it. Okay. That day, this is what I remember, but you tell me what you remember, is that you came upon us in our disagreement. But I remember I was touching Wesley's face because he was telling me something. He was sharing how he felt on the trail with me. and then like it started to diffuse. I think when you came up, like that's because I was like, wait, I've never heard you say this before. I didn't even know you felt this way. And then you came into like seeing us in this moment. And did I say like we're having a really intense conversation or something?
Yeah. Yeah. So when I came up, you guys were, to be honest, it sounded like you were just talking. Like I didn't realize that this was an intense, air quotes, conversation. I was like, man, because I definitely understood you guys were disagreeing about something, but you were definitely using these I feel words, and you were saying I feel, he was responsive, he was saying I feel, and then I was like, man, these two really are the poster child for like every fucking relationship that ever should be. And then you guys took that kiss break, and then you apologized to me later, because in the time I didn't realize that it was an argument, but it was like maybe a mile or two after we were hiking, and you go, I'm sorry that we were having such an intense conversation or an argument, and you were a part of that, or you had to be a part of it. I was like, what? What are you talking about? Like,
oh, that's right, because we weren't done with the conversation as we were walking. That's right, because I was like, I'm not going to. One of our rule of thumbs, I feel personally, I don't know if Wesley would agree with this or not, but I always feel like we don't just leave a conversation unless it's really getting heated. It's like, okay, maybe we walk away and take a minute away from other people. But like in that moment, I just feel like on trail though, it's like you just air out your laundry. And if someone's in your presence when you're talking about something, someone's in your presence. But
yeah, that's
funny that I didn't realize, I forgot that we had continued our disagreement. You would have loved to have heard the way he just explained it, but
I'll hear it whenever I listen to the episode.
Yeah, he just said that we were saying I feel messages as we were like talking, and I like apologized when I was like,
you taught me how to communicate.
Did I teach you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that.
I feel communication. Yeah.
I always say this to people: the biggest way to diffuse any intense moment between couples, because it's only couples that have intimate relationship that get this intense. Maybe friends that have been friends for like 20 years if a disagreement happens, but like I always say, never ever say you do this. Always say I'm experiencing you like this, or I feel like this is what's happening and this is the narrative I'm telling myself. Because at the end of the day, right, we're trying to fight for connection. We're not trying to separate. We're not trying to disconnect. We're trying to reconnect. And if I say something like, well, you always do this when blah, blah, blah happens.
Not helpful.
It's not going to help him or me. And then we'll really get into a fight.
Because then the other person starts getting defensive.
Yeah.
And
then we just start name calling and spitballing. And then it just goes, it implodes.
And then the armor and the sword and shield come out and you just start going at it.
And now we're just bleeding.
Yeah.
And then you build your castles and nobody can get in.
'Tis but a flesh wound.
'Tis but a flesh wound.
God, that's such a good show.
It is.
Yeah. So
I was just asking what he came across. Like, this is how it all started.
And then we caught back up with him. I don't know how. He must have stopped because we don't hike as fast as you. Right?
No, he hiked with us. We were all hiking together. Because we were like, Tumbleweed, you can go ahead of us. He was like, no. Like, I'll just go with your pace because it's nice to hang out with you guys.
And so we kept talking about our situation. Okay.
Yes, we were still. I forgot about this, that we kept going.
But we had learned in Oregon, Tumbleweed, that whenever we're talking through things like this, it's hard whenever you're through hiking because one person's hiking behind the other, so you're not looking at each other. So that's why we're making eye contact and like physical touch, because that helps through the conversation, which is why you saw what you were seeing.
I guess that's why when I said, all right, we're going to stop and kiss. I need to make up.
Oh my God. You know, we talk about this area at the Goat Rocks campsite we had with Tumbleweed quite a lot. We've mentioned it in several other episodes. But one thing we haven't mentioned that much is the water source that we had up there. So we've briefly touched on the fact that our water source was a melting basically sheet of snow that started to ice over because it's going through these freeze thaw phases. But what we haven't mentioned is that yes, that ice and that snow is melting and we're able to get it into a vessel and we're able to drink it, but we have to filter it because there is so much sediment that we are collecting whenever we're going to get this water from this, you know, the snow melt source, because it's such a low trickle and it's so close to the surface. There's no nice drop like you would imagine with a nice trickling brook or a creek or, you know, a spring. This is a difficult water pull, but it's water nonetheless. And we are extremely glad that we had our Sawyer filters out there with us whenever we were collecting that water, because even if we had had chlorine tablets to purify the water, we still would have been drinking a whole bunch of sediment and a bunch of other junk that you really just don't want in a good gulp of water, especially when you've been out in the middle of nowhere hiking and you're hot. So if you're listening to this promo right now, we don't have a discount code for Sawyer, but what we do have is an opportunity for you to win a free care package from Sawyer products. We've used Sawyer the entirety of our through hiking and ultra running career. We continue to use Sawyer products to this day. Our favorite is the Sawyer Squeeze. It's kind of our go-to product that they offer. And also, if you didn't know, they offer picaridin and permethrin sprays and lotions to treat not only your skin, but also the equipment that you're going to take out into the backcountry with you. We didn't have any bugs with us up there at the Goat Rocks because it was pretty high, pretty cold, but it doesn't mean that bugs hadn't been there earlier in the day when it was a little bit warmer because, you know, funny story, they can survive at higher elevations. I was actually hiking in Breckenridge area at about 11,500 feet, and I was being eaten alive by mosquitoes. So you always want to be prepared. So reach out to us at Yeti Walks into Basecamp at gmail.com and let us know what adventures you would take your Sawyer package giveaway on. And more importantly, I want to know one scenario where you've been eaten alive by some type of annoying bug, like be it mosquitoes, be it ticks, you know, anything like that, because their insect treatments and repellents do work on ticks as well. Just FYI. Yeah, so shoot us an email, yetiwalksintobasecamp@gmail.com, with the most annoying insect scenario that you've ever been in. Would love to hear it. Would love to share that with our listeners. I've actually got a small stockpile that I've been waiting to share with y'all from some of our other care package winners. So shoot us that email. The first person to send that email over to our address will win the care package for Sawyer. Really hoping that we can continue to give the gift that keeps on giving. I guess it kind of does, because the filters allow you to continue to go into the backcountry and drink water safely and continue to have more of an enjoyable time with less pests, and also deter, you know, the potential for disease, because some of these pests do carry disease, such as mosquitoes and ticks. So you want to be very careful and very prepared when you're going out into the backcountry. So thank you, Sawyer, for sponsoring this episode and for sponsoring our podcast. We love you, and I feel like we always will. It'll just be one of those marriages until death do us part, right? All right. To the best emailer/listener, go the care package. But we kept on hiking up towards the Goat Rocks area. We never actually saw any mountain goats, just a lot of people out there. Do you remember?
No, I remember seeing a lot of people in that one spot where it opens up into Alpine. There were tons of people.
No, we didn't see any mountain goats, but we saw lots of people, right?
You just said we saw lots of mountain goats, but we didn't see any people.
Wait, did I just say that backwards? Sorry. I'm a girly man, and the ciders are getting to me. Do you remember as we were climbing up the Goat Rocks area? Do you remember that photographer who wouldn't take a picture of us?
Yeah, I never got my picture, by the way.
Dude,
Wait, did you get a picture? He took a
think I
picture of
did.
you?
Oh no, Optimus took a picture. I haven't got that one.
we'll talk
different.
to Optimus about that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Which did you know he's getting married?
No, congratulations, Optimus.
Congrats,
I
Optimus.
know, congrats, dude.
Not that he listens to our podcast, but congratulations.
But yeah, that photographer would not take pictures of us, but he took pictures of the people right in front of us.
We got really salty about it, and I don't know if you knew this, Tumbleweed, but after we finished the trail, Wesley sent him a message and told him he was a dick.
Pretty much. I have no regrets.
You didn't take my picture.
Bastard.
Well, no, and I had completely forgotten about this guy until one day his Instagram just shows up on our feed, and it's these these really great portrait photos of all these thru hikers from the class of 22. And I'm like, oh my God, I remember this guy. He wanted nothing to do with us. And we even asked him, like, hey, do you want us to stop and get a photo?
And
And he's
said
like,
no.
nah, I'm good.
Maybe
I'm like, okay, bro.
I got offended too, because I was like, we're a cute couple that matches. Like,
oh, that's
why
right.
wouldn't you want to take our photo?
You guys are your orange shirts.
Exactly.
And after the photographer, we've already explained in the episode how the scenario looks where we bagged our campsite for this night, but I want you to retell it in your own perspective.
Oh man. All right.
Oh man.
This was memorable. This felt like a core memory for me, for
Core
sure.
memory for sure.
That was great because I remember we hiked past it. We're like, we're gonna keep going. I was gonna pull my first 50, and you guys were gonna pull over 40. And we get to this spot overlooking. You had Adams behind you, Rainier in front of you, Helen to the left, and then Old Snowy to the right. I remember looking around. I was like, damn, this place is beautiful. And then you guys are like, you just said something. It wasn't even, it was like, hey, you want to camp here? It's nice or something. I was like, not even a second. I turned around and ran back. I was like, our campsite. Chased those three people off. I was like, we're camping here. And oh man, that was, yeah. Then we set up camp. They're like, okay, man, yeah, you can have it. I was like, that's right. But that's part of the hard part about being a thru hiker is you start to feel like you have ownership of the trail. It feels like your house, whereas day hikers are just visitors. So, it's hard to remember. You got to be kind of cognizant of other people doing the same thing, but not at that moment. That was our place.
Well, it becomes your home, because you're on it all the time.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you become attached to it like it's a part of your family at that point.
Right.
Well, and I was going to say too, it's rare that we ever find a campsite like that. Like, it's so rare.
And actually camp at it.
Camp at it, right? It's always the shitty campsites at the end of the day because everybody's already taken the great campsites at 5 p.m. So you're like, damn it.
Part of the title for the last episode that came out was Pitch in a Ditch. So if that tells you anything about the camping scene.
As you remember.
Yeah.
Man.
What do you remember about that campsite though?
Or that night, yeah.
So that I remember looking over, there was that ridge where the end of it looked like a Spartan helmet, and you looked just to that side and there was the clouds coming over, and I think that was the first time I really understood what they mean when they call mountain sky islands, because you're like looking across and the clouds definitely look like water. And then I remember looking at Rainier, and that's where I found out that you had proposed to Basecamp on Rainier. And I thought to myself, wow, you're staring at the place that you guys got engaged at. You talked about the crevasses and you talked about climbing it up and how you had a GoPro on your head. And I remember looking around and I was like, man, you think Helen's hot now? You should have seen her with her top on. And then I looked back at Adams and I was like, this is just like the most beautiful place I've ever seen in my entire life. And for the longest time before that, it had been that valley to Muir Pass. Because when I came across on the other side of Mather Pass and you go down into that valley, that was just stunning to me. But I'd never seen anything like the Goat Rock area. That was like, 10 out of 10 would go back 100 times or more. But I remember watching you guys and hanging out. I remember that night we had woken up and there had been a mountain lion walking around the campsite that night, and
sniffing around.
And it's funny because a lot of times when you talk to people who don't do this kind of thing, they think, oh, I'm scared because of mountain lions, I'm scared because of bears, I'm scared because of whatever. And really it's the chipmunks you got to worry about. They'll get in your shit.
It is the chipmunks and the mice.
The chipmunks. That is so true.
But I remember looking down in beast mode, and Gucci and I forget the other guy. They had camped in that little ditch fortress in the back.
Yeah.
And I guess they were fine. But to go back, the mountain lions and the bears, they're gonna sniff around. But from my experience, I didn't have any of them bother me. Sometimes they make noises and they go on.
Yeah, we've never had any big charismatic predators like that bother us. Never.
They don't want anything to do with us, right? Like they want to smell or eat, or they're curious, and then they go their merry way. It's so rare that especially a bear or mountain lion would attack. Like it's just such a rare occurrence, and I always want to know why. I feel like a lot of times with bears it's because they smell something that they think is in the tent, or like someone has blueberry chapstick on or something. It's like it might be that they have something that smells attractive to a bear, and the bear thinks there's blueberries in this tent, I must get them. It's a person. It's like, oh.
Yeah, it's super rare to have these animals bother you, and when you do hear about it, you don't hear about the hundreds of thousands of opportunities where bad things didn't happen. You only hear about the bad scenario,
the one
where the human was injured or the animal was killed, and both cases are unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, wildlife does not want to mess with you, except for the little rodents that want your goods or the mosquitoes that want your blood.
Yeah.
That.
I have a thought, just so that way we can utilize our time with Tumbleweed.
What's that?
Is that we go back and talk about all of our stuff without him. Maybe after or in a different time.
Yeah, we can do that.
Just so that we can hear more about his story.
Yeah, we can even make it another episode.
Yeah, we can.
We can.
We're just literally, Tumbleweed, we are just dragging out our story.
We've only got like 2 weeks left, so
we just keep dragging it out. We're like, yeah, we'll just tell more later.
Yeah.
But I remember we went into White's Pass, but we said goodbye to you at White's Pass because we went into Seattle, which we already talked about in our other episode. But the next time, when you came back into the story.
Wait, real quick.
Yeah.
Do you remember Pa Ott on top of Old Snowy?
I have a picture.
Oh my God. Can we share that picture?
I'll have to find it, but yeah.
Okay.
Please, yes.
For our Patreon subscribers, because we love to share the photos and videos as we're telling the story so people can see. But we tried to paint the picture for people of Pa Ott that morning.
This is, for those listening now, this is in episode 70. We talk about Pa Ott being like the spirit of John Muir on top of Old Snowy with a pot.
We definitely thought it was.
Coffee.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about right here.
I couldn't call him Pa Ott anymore after that. It was always, what's up, John Muir?
John Muir.
What I love too is that you hiked with him the final stretch, which I think is so beautiful that you saw him that morning, and like he does possess something about the trail. Like he to me encapsulates something about the trail that we all long for, and he just walks. He is it, if that makes sense. And so I think it's so powerful that you got to finish the trail with him, which we can talk about. But
yeah,
he definitely, like, being around him, it invokes something inside you, like something not like primal in the I'm a tough guy kind of primal. It's more of like the connection to the wilderness primal, the
softness.
His love for it is, like I said, it was so hard to call him Pa Ott after that, because everything he would talk about and the way he would talk about, especially when he talked about his wife and how much he loved the trail. And this dude's like 70. And so I listen to people like 20s and 30s and 40s, and they're all, I could never do that. I'm like, motherfucker, this dude is killing it. And he's a bad motherfucker too. Like, he's out there, like, kindest guy I'd ever seen. I remember seeing him in Richmond in SoCal, or when I got to KM South and went down to Richmond, and he's walking around, and I was like, damn, that dude's like killing it. I'm over here like, oh, okay, gotta get ready for the next section. But
Yeah.
I think it was really, you're right. It was the love that he had came out, and you could definitely see it. His footsteps seemed deliberate. And yeah, I miss that guy.
Have you ever heard of, it's called kin-centrism before?
No.
That's whenever you look at everything like the mountains and the trees and the wildlife as like your relatives. And if you look at things like they're part of your family, then you treat them with more respect. You treat them more kindly. Things like that. Yeah, I think that's what Pa Ott utilized in his methodology and his approach to life.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Whereas like, I guess the antithesis is anthropocentrism, where everything's about us, we.
You realize how little things are about us. Man.
Honestly, right.
Yeah.
So White's Pass, we end up going to Seattle because our tent had completely blown a zipper.
Blown the coop.
And so, I mean, there was one side that half zipped and the other side was completely like kindergarten taped up by myself. Pretty proud of that job. We go to Seattle. We get a new tent. We come back to the trail.
I just remember when you come back into the picture after Seattle, we were hiking, and we're literally about to get into Snoqualmie Pass, and we're really looking forward to it, honestly. Like, we were like, just can't wait to get a beer. Like, and we're finally coming down. You remember that last part where what is it? The ski lifts?
Stevens Pass area. Wait, no, not Stevens
Snoqualmie
Pass.
Pass.
Is it Snoqualmie Pass?
Yeah. It's
called?
where you go down, and there was like a ski lift right there, and you go down, and you were talking about how you needed shug.
I needed a lot of sugar.
Wesley apparently was having like a sugar crash.
It was.
And he's like, Daddy needs a shug. He just kept talking about it.
And what sucked too
I kept giving him, I was like, you want a gummy? Like sugar gummy? He's like, no, I don't want that fake sugar.
I didn't want it.
I'm like, oh my God.
And what sucked is we knew that there was trail magic coming up at a parking lot because everybody was talking about it. It was like going along up trail.
It's on far out.
And we're about a mile from this parking lot, and we get a text message from you, Tumbleweed. And you're like, in all caps, warning, everybody in Snoqualmie is getting sick as fuck. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? And I think you came back with like everyone's getting sick with norovirus.
Yeah, because we were asking you what you meant by that. And then I think that's when you said everybody's getting norovirus.
And I had worked in public health, and I knew what norovirus was and how to handle it. And so I'm like, well, Marie, basically we need to not touch anything that other people are touching, and we need to stay away from people. So
we get to the trail magic.
and
the sweet man is so happy to see us. He's like, eat food, sign the trail log.
and all the food that he had to offer was like self-serve handheld food items, and then you had to of course grab a pen to sign his trail log, and the only thing we did was sign his logbook and immediately hand sanitize afterwards,
because he looks at me, he's like, do not touch the food. Like Wesley's like full on like public health mode.
And the guy was like, do you want some of this or some of that? And we're like, no, we're just gonna get into town and hit the trail again. And he seemed offended.
He was so sad.
He was offended.
He was very sad.
Like, sorry, man, but
we're like, no, we're gonna get into town. He's like, you don't want to take us? Do you want to sit down, grab a Coke? I was no.
I think it was somewhere at that lodge. They had that campsite with the lodge, and then there was a ton of elk around that area too. But it was somewhere between there and Snoqualmie, like getting into Snoqualmie, that I think is where it started. But that night, I was like, okay, I'm good. I don't feel terrible. So I'm going out. And so I was halfway to the catwalk, and I set it up like, oh shit. Oh, this is bad. And like, I know they say bury, cat holes, but let's be real. There was no time for any of that.
No
way, dude.
It was
just... And just to preface for everyone, like, we haven't covered this part in our PCT episodes. Like, this is all stuff we'll talk about later in more detail, but we're just trying to cover it with Tumbleweed because it's rare that we get this guy on our podcast.
Makes it sound like I'm busy or something.
Something like that. Cat holes.
But yeah,
Right.
you got norovirus as you were hiking out.
Right. And there was like 15 other people there. I ended up coming back down, and Cougar had met up with me. I'd gone, I don't remember how I got to the hospital, but if you get norovirus, just deal with it. Don't go to the hospital. It's expensive. Like, figure out how to deal with it without having to pay a doctor. Golly, that was money out yeah, that was bad. But then I ended up riding back to the trail with Cougar, and that was the last time I'd see him before Seattle. And I remember like just so dehydrated. I'd climbed up. I finally got past the catwalk, which no clouds, beautiful. And as I'm going on the other side of the catwalk, I can't remember that old lady's name, but I'd seen her several times. And she was looking at me. She's like, "You don't look so good." I was like, "I don't feel so good." And she gave me one of her little salt packets. So I drank that. And for like hikers to give you anything is
huge.
Pretty special. It's like, so I was sitting by this alpine lake, all my stuff dried out, like dehydrated, feeling awful, and drinking this salt whatever the hell she gave me, and thinking, man, I'm so close and I feel so awful, but I'm in like the most beautiful place in the world. And yeah, I think I texted you, I think the night I came down and was going to the hospital is like when I got off there, and I was like, yeah, watch out. This is danger. You got to look out for the homies,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Isn't that ironic? You're surrounded by a bunch of alpine lakes, but you're dehydrated.
Right.
Yeah, that's a cruel like twist of fate.
Fucking norovirus is a son of a bitch. I hate
what,
norovirus. Man? Did we tell you we got it on the AZT?
Mm-mm.
We were dry camping. It was horrible.
Yeah, we were dry camping, and all they had was water caches.
And we were
out there.
60 miles from a town. We had to hike in. It was bad. But like, I felt so much for you when we were on the AZT. I was like, this is what it felt like. This sucks. You do not have time to do any cat holes.
Dude, and Kappa's gotten norovirus at least twice
on the AT.
This year.
Damn.
Yeah.
I miss Kappa. That dude was important.
I know, man, right?
Man, I ran into him either right before Stehekin when I was going into Section K, and I only hiked with him that day, and then he'd said something to me. He goes, "You can't wait for anybody, mate. You just gotta keep going."
Yeah.
And I woke up the next morning. I was packing up and I was drinking my coffee, and he was still sleeping, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen. And I said bye. I didn't think I'd see him again. I didn't.
Yeah.
But that man, like his energy, I wish like that level of positivity, the way he thinks, the way he like carries himself, and just the fun that he has with life should be like, I don't know, taught in schools or some shit. Cause that's like the way to be. Like he lights up everywhere he goes, makes everybody notices that he's there. He's definitely been an influence in my life, post trail for sure.
Oh, have you told him that?
Well, he'll hear it here.
That's true, because he does listen to our podcast. Yeah.
What's up, Kappa? You fucking crazy fuck. I love you, man.
He's a crazy fucker. You think he was saying that in regards to Jedi because he wasn't waiting for Jedi to finish?
Or us, because we were begging him to wait for us by a day, I think. Because we ran back into him. So we saw you at Hearts Pass, and then as we're going into the trail to the terminus, he was coming out actually. So we only missed him by 7 or 8 hours, I think. But I mean, it could have been us. It could have been Jedi as well, because Jedi, I think, wanted to wait as well so they could finish together. Yeah, because they had hiked the whole thing together. But it is, you're right, especially when the fires were coming. That was like, you can't wait on someone by a day even, because the fires can hit within 2 hours. Like, you don't know. And but to go back, you got norovirus. You hiked back down to Snoqualmie Pass. where, and to also paint a picture for people who do not know this, Snoqualmie Pass is a town. Like there is a town right there, and it's got hotels. Not a lot of hotels. It's like, what, 2 hotels? Mm-hmm. One is a hostel.
It's got a grocery store, a few gas stations.
Cute little grocery store, a brewery, of course.
Uh-huh.
And like a restaurant and a gas station. It's a very tiny town. It's not a big town.
Yeah.
But it isn't just a pass. It is a town. And, you know, looking forward to getting in this town. Like, this is like, you've come so far as a thru hiker. You're so close to the end. But you're like craving carbs at this point. You want every piece of food you can get. Beer, pizza, burgers, all of it. Mm-hmm. And then Tumbleweed sends us this text. We're like, nah.
Like, God damn it, Tumbleweed.
So, like, shit.
And we had a resupply box at the gas station.
Which worked out for us, Tumbleweed. Thank you. Because we were like, let's get in and out.
No, it's your good, not your bad.
Yeah. But we didn't realize you had it, though. Because you didn't say you were sick. You just said everybody was sick as fuck. Mm-hmm. And so I'm so sorry, because like what we should have probably done is been like, do you need anything? Do you want us to get you some Gatorade? Because you were in Snoqualmie when we were there, right?
I don't think I was there when you were there, because I think I hung out that night with after Cougar, and then I had hung out with Beast Mode, and I hiked out with Beast Mode, and well, kind of before him.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was already gone before everybody else had left.
So you texted us after you were better and you were hiking out and giving us the warning, which was perfect, literally, because we were literally coming down and about to get into town. Like, that was so serendipitous.
Yeah. That's funny. You guys were coming down into town as I was climbing out of town.
And then we left that day too. So we were not that far behind you that day, because we like in and out of that in 3 hours, I think.
But we still ran back into you at Trout Lake. Like the little town of Trout Lake or whatever. It's like a general store and a restaurant.
Right. Much. I remember I got a campsite there, and that's where I really got to know the Germans. I can't remember. Khalid and I can't remember her name.
Is this the guy that had the electric fly swatter? Okay, okay.
The tennis racket.
Yeah.
We met them with you, I guess, the day we met Beast Mode, right?
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
When he was totally macro dosing on shrooms.
Yeah.
Why don't I do more hallucinogenics on trails? I don't know.
I don't know if that's a place to start. He said everything was really vibrant. Trout Lake was nice.
It was really nice, wasn't it? There was like a cat running around, hanging out with everybody.
I couldn't pet it.
I remember I camped at where the shuttle picks you up. I remember I camped right on that road, and basically it was like, no, I set up camp. I think I set my tent up. I don't think because it had rained that night. And I remember getting on that shuttle. I had never seen all the hikers. That's where you guys keep talking about this bubble. And traveling with the bubble, golly. Like,
painful.
I was trying to find a place to camp anywhere. Everywhere was just flooded with us. And
flooded with us. Yeah, that's a good way to say that.
Dude, it's great meeting the new people, but the campsite availability is hard.
Mm-hmm. And the trail traffic got a little,
Yeah.
At that time, I was definitely, like I said, I had my legs. So I was definitely moving. And it would be constantly like, get up to speed. And then all of a sudden, hey, I need you to move out the way. But there's like 3 inches to move. Like, I'm not that skinny. Even then, I wasn't that skinny.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember getting into Trout Lake, and I got this campsite, and I think we all drank out there. I don't think you guys ran into me there, because I don't even know. Did I see you guys in Leavenworth?
Yes.
We saw you in Trout Lake. We saw you in Leavenworth.
Did we see him in Trout Lake? I don't remember.
It was briefly.
Maybe it's when you were leaving then, and we had just come in. Maybe it was like a tap. A tap out.
Well, I remember we were all charging stuff at Trout Lake together.
Oh. Yes, because your charger, you were like, do you need to use my charger or something? Because I think my phone was dying. But yes. We had burgers together.
What, that big ass charger I got came in
that
handy?
$2 Nomad Goal Zero charger.
Do you mean 2 pounds? 2 pounds?
What did I say?
You said $2.
It's that 2 pound. Wow. Wow. These ciders have gotten me. I do remember that freaking charger though.
Man, I still got it. I use it all the time. It still works.
Of course you do. Of course
Worth
you do. Leavenworth, I have a picture of you sitting on top of a goat statue.
Oh,
You remember that?
yeah. That was a
like
fun day.
right as we had gotten into Leavenworth, some guy had given us some money or something. Oh, don't you do it?
Hey, no, Loba, not yet.
Not yet.
Just wait a little bit longer, okay? Thank you.
What she means is chill the fuck out.
Just wait.
But
Okay.
Leavenworth was a lot of fun. We actually had a beer with you whenever we'd first gotten into town. We were trying to game plan and figure out what we were doing.
I think as you guys got into that day, you got into Leavenworth is the day I left. Because I remember,
Seems to be our
of
theme.
course.
because I had stealth camp that night, and I stealth camped that the first night I got in. The second night I stayed in the hotel, and I remember I was camped out over by the river area, and these kids saw me, and they're like 18, so they're in their teens. I don't know how old they were, but I just hear them, and they're doing kid stuff, and they're trying to like scare me, like, oh, there's a mountain lion and been seen in the area, and I'm like, wrong person to be trying to scare with that shit.
You can't scare me with that.
And so I fell asleep. I hung out, and I think I had gotten the hotel, stayed that night, and then you guys had rolled in as I was getting ready to roll out on my way to Stehekin. And I remember Section K, everybody said was so hard. Like, it should have been, had I not been like, if I didn't have my legs, it would have killed me. Like, if I try to do that right now, oh man, there's no way I'd be doing. But I remember doing 30s a day in there. Like, life's good. And I got to Stehekin, and these random people picked me up. They gave me like $100 to go get a beer and stuff. I was like,
What?
Wait, really?
Sweet.
yeah, that was so strange. But it's because the shuttle left. It was the last shuttle.
Oh, no.
So the ranger at that house was like, well, these people are going back to Stehekin. Why don't you give them a ride? And I got to the bar,
Oh,
and
my gosh.
it was great. The trail does provide.
It does.
And then $100.
Yeah.
We
Much
only ever
needed.
saw you again at Hearts Pass. So from like Stehekin,
Oh my
To the
gosh,
end of your
Loba,
story.
calm down.
what happened?
So from Stehekin, that was like, it's when you start getting down, you're already in the triple digits, but then you get to the double digits of all you have left. And once you get to like 99 miles to go, it's like the weirdest feeling in the world, because you really start trying to like absorb everything, trying to like stay in the moment as much as possible, delay the inevitable. And because you start to realize that the end is near. And I remember the night before I got to Hearts Pass, I camped, and I remember just sitting there caught in thought about, the thousands of miles that we just walked, and all the things that I'd just done, the people that I had come and gone. And that's when that thought came to me and made me realize relationships for me are like hikes. Sometimes you have your day hikers who are just going to be there for the day, and those guys are cool, and they're going to, usually give you a soda and give you something, that for some reason they're carrying that they shouldn't be carrying on trail. But then you're going to come into your like weekend backpackers, and they're there for a couple days, same kind of thing. Then, you'll get your section hikers, and those are the people that you really care about. You start to develop with, and you realize that saying goodbye to them is going to be a little bit harder, but every once in a while, and very few people in your life will ever be a through. And that's what I've always kind of looked at people like, are you a day? Are you a weekend? Are you a section? Are you a through? And, try to let that develop. But I started to realize those are the relationships that I developed along this fucking journey through the wilderness. And, it started to make me think about you guys a lot. I thought a lot about Razor. I thought a lot about Raccoon. I miss Cougar like crazy. I miss Chief. Saying goodbye to Chief was probably one of the hardest parts of trail. I remember crying over that shit. That was before I had my breakdown in Oregon, like at the Oregon border, where I just like, my mind snapped. So it's when all of the things you talk about, all the things you think about, all the stupid little jokes, all of that that was the night before I hit Hearts Pass. I hit Hearts Pass and I kept going. And that night I camped after Hearts Pass. I was like, this is the last night, like, I'll be camping on trail. This is it. After this, what is it? And then I started to realize how important trail really is. You know, I would never know it at the time, how important all of that would be. The ability to say goodbye, the brief encounters, the enjoyments, the jokes, the fun, the hardships, the slippery slopes, the everything that was there. I would never realize what that trail would mean to me, because it doesn't mean the same to me now as it did when I finished. It doesn't mean as much to me as it did a year after, or 18 months and 3 years later. And it means everything to me, because without that trail, I wouldn't have been able to face the demons and learn to live with them. I wouldn't have been able to gain the confidence of climbing icy slopes and spike shoes, and I wouldn't be able to face deserts and see that even in the burn that we talk about, all the burn scars come to poodle dog bush. And even though when you touch it, it's irritating, it's the process of which mother grows. And that was her recovery. And it showed me all the scars and the rocks and everything from the Sierras. And it's really weird how that's what you think about on your last night of trail, and you just don't want it to be over. And you get to the monument, and I remember thinking, I'm here. After 2 attempts, thousands of miles, friends that I'll never forget. And I was like, I'm here. And I just wrote in that journal, that log, I was like, well, I made it. I think that's about all I could say is, well, I made it. And I sat down, I smoked, and I remember tearing up, and Mountain Goat showed up, and I got to see him. And then it was really like on the way back that was weird, or on the way up and on the way back to the monument, because this is where all the faces you're seeing on the way up to the monument. You're seeing all the faces of people getting off trail that you've grown familiar with, like Crime Scene. He's the one who told me, us hikers, we don't say goodbye. We just say another trail, another time. And that's lived with me forever, or for 3 years. That's a long time, I guess. But it's lived with me. That's how I look at goodbyes. Like, I'm not saying goodbye. I'm going to see you on another trail in another time. And I hope that that's true. And that feeling of reaching that monument, I remember looking around, and I'm around a bunch of unfamiliar people, and I'd never felt like I'd been with more people, like more people that I had in common with, and that we all had this understanding. They all cheered when I walked up. I cheered when other people walked up. It's like, this wasn't the ending of a trail. This is the beginning of a new life. Like, the old me really did die there, because, for me, it was, this is no longer will the normal cotton world feel comfortable. Never will it feel like this is that's where I belong. When I realized that I belong on a trail, that's my life. That's where, the most memorable parts and the most developing parts of your life will be. And, that led me to learn about Edward Abbey, who tells us that the reason we're so the way we are is because we forgot that we're wild animals and that we belong in the wilderness, that we are a part of, not apart from. And the more we disconnect ourselves from that, then the more chaotic, the more stress, the more anxiety, the more of all this other stuff. And I try to tell my friends, I'm like, there's nothing in this world that you're going through that can't be healed with a long walk. Sometimes just a little longer than you think. And
it's true.
That's a good quote right there.
I've got 2 Edward Abbey books I need reading right now.
Yeah.
Man, Desert Solitaire, money. Like,
that's the one I'm reading, not Monkey Wrench Gang yet.
That one's good too, but
yeah,
Desert Solitaire is just perfect. That and Carrot Quinn's love her to death. Like,
yeah,
it's just probably one of the better books that I've read about the PCT. Definitely don't like wild.
You should read Journeys North.
Oh yeah.
I've read that one too.
And The Last Englishman. Have you?
Keith Foskett. We actually interviewed him, Fozzie. He has The Last Englishman is such a good PCT book. Oh my gosh, it's so well told. And he actually has another one called Balancing on Blue, I believe is the right one, where he's battling with depression.
It's really good.
I think that should, for people dealing with depression, and if you're going out there to like heal and stuff like that, all for it, and understanding your depression is going to be probably crucial, because you got to realize that just because you are the way you are, it doesn't mean that you should affect the people around you. And you have to realize that, yes, you're fighting an illness, but they're out there, everybody else is out there for different reasons. And I think that's something that I should have told myself. I would tell myself at the beginning of the trail, like, make sure that you understand your issues, your depression, your things, and try to affect the people around you as little as possible,
I was going to say, Tumbleweed, we don't have to talk about this, but I do remember you mentioning how you spread your mother's ashes at the end of the terminus. Do you mind talking about it?
I don't. So 3 years before I had started hiking, my mother had committed suicide. For whatever reason, she decided that she had reached the end of her life and that to go further was not an option. So we cremated her, and when I moved up to Washington, I lived in Bremerton for 6 years, and when she had left Washington, she'd moved to San Diego. So it really felt like I was walking from where my mom left me, where my mom left me from where my mom went to. And there were a lot of times along the trail where, like, things with my ex-wife, I got to make peace with her on top of Muir Pass. I made peace with my brothers who had got killed on Mather Pass, and I finally made peace with my mother at the border. And she will watch over hikers as they start their journeys and end them, in infinitum. But I wanted to make sure that she at least got to feel like I got to feel like she was a part of my journey. I carried her for thousands of miles, and like, I think that, I'll do that for every trail that I go on. The BMT, she's already at the start of that one. I've had a failed attempt there too. Failure is not the end. It's just the beginning.
It is.
So she'll be at the end of the BMT. She'll be at the beginning of the CDT, AT, and the Oregon Coast Trail for sure. Those four are definitely going to happen. The rest of them we'll see. I definitely want the Art Lobe too. That sounds kind of cool.
Oh, it's like 30-something miles of
done that one.
Grandeur is what it is in North Carolina.
Yeah, I want to see it. And then what is it? Sea to Summit. You were telling me about that when we were in the Smokies. What, last year before?
And Deuces too. A lot of it's road walking, but it's a beautiful trail.
Yeah. So was a CDT.
Whenever you got back to Hart's Pass, you were there. You were at Hart's Pass. We got there. You were at Hart's Pass, and like, we still have to go and finish. You've already gotten back from your finish at the Northern Terminus. You were there with Pa Ott, and I remember him singing a song, and then you played a song on your phone for me. And I kid you not, after we left Hart's Pass, I freaking broke down like sobbing.
Oh my gosh, Tumbleweed. He literally, I don't think I've ever seen Wesley cry this hard, except for a moment where he was super drunk and he was like doing therapy with me about his life.
Yeah.
But I've never seen Wesley break down like this over saying goodbye to you. Like, it was this, not to speak for you, but this was my perspective, is like, he realized he wasn't going to see you again for a while. And this deep connection he had built with another human being besides me, or, a person he grew up with, I think was really, it all was starting to crash in on him of like, oh my God, like, I've developed such a deep connection with this person that I love, and I'm not going to see them for a long time, and also represents the trail. And it's about to end, and it's all about to change. But that was my perspective of you breaking down. I've never seen him break down like that, except for one time in our marriage. And
it's rare, but it's healthy,
But it was with you, though. It was like he was going to really miss you.
Yeah, I definitely was going to miss you. And then you have Pa Ott, who represents like John Muir, who is
Represents
the PCT.
the trail.
And he's over here singing this song about the trail. I'm like, what is happening?
I'll have to find that video. I definitely videoed the song,
Yeah,
but I didn't have enough storage space to finish it. I had to stop it too soon.
fair.
But yeah, Roger Krager, I'll see you when I see you. That's the song, and I listen to it every once in a while. Think of that day too. Yeah, definitely. I think it's hard to say goodbye to people like that you spent so much time with, because hiking with somebody, if you really want to know someone, like know they're good, they're bad, they're good, everything about them, hike with them. Like, screw first dates, go on a hike. Like
100%. That was our first date, was a hike. We did like 7.5 miles together. Yeah.
You'll learn a ton. And if you really want to know them, spend a few months with them. But,
honestly,
you know, I think the trail definitely forges relationships a lot deeper, because you start to understand, like, you care about the same things, you're doing the same things, you have similar interests, obviously, even if, you know, you have different outlooks or whatever. You realize that we really are a species that's just apart from, unfortunately, the rest of the people who want to go to Starbucks and sit there all day. But, you know, nothing against Starbucks. I love you a cold brew, but you know.
Me too.
But it is hard, because you do develop such deep relationships with people, like with Chief, especially that 19-year-old dude, like, for real, the most like kind-hearted individual, and proper, and the way he eats with like his hand under his spoon and all that stuff. Man, that dude was like wise beyond his years. Like,
what an old soul he
for
is.
real.
Yes.
But yeah, I
So
definitely broke
Go
down
ahead.
a little bit after Hearts Pass too. On the way back to Seattle, I was a little sad. I wasn't gonna see you guys either. Like, well, I've run into you guys for the last time on this trail. So
little did you know we would continue to try and wrangle you throughout our lives and have you on the podcast too.
yeah, I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I had a couple questions, Tumbleweed, that popped up in my head, if you don't mind entertaining them. But one of them I wanted to ask you is how do you feel like being in the military actually prepared you for through hiking?
Well, as an infantryman, you do a lot of backpacking, and the strange part, like Southern California, the mountains in Southern California look a lot like Afghanistan. So, and you get to see aircraft and all sorts of stuff fly through the valleys, which, you know, can be a little jarring at times. I think that it taught me the ability to be somewhat independent while still connected to a group. So the military, you're going to be forced with people you like and don't like, and you're still going to have the same common goal. When anything happens, you're still going to be down for them. You're still going to take care of them. You're still going to be there. Through hiking, you're going to be around people that you like and people that you don't like, and you're still going to try to be there for them. You know, if they're going to get hurt on trail, you're still going to help them out. They're still going to help you, hopefully. You're all going to have your stories about each other. What goes like in the military, you have the PNN, Private News Network, which is all just a bunch of gossip. On trail, you have a bunch of gossip. It goes up and down trail. Anything you do is going to be heard thousands of miles away. So it definitely, like, the correlation, I don't know, it just, you get used to being sufficient, self-sufficient. Like, and if you're lucky enough, you get a group of people that you really care about, and you get to live a life that way. So just really drilling, hiking, and dealing with pain. Get used to it.
The pain never goes away. You just get used to it.
That's right.
Yeah.
The best advice I ever heard, and I was like, and this is probably why I stayed on the trail and didn't give up, because you realize you're in pain every day. And if you can accept the pain cave every day when you're hiking, you will find something like gold in it, and it will forever change your life, right? It's just, it's so beautiful.
There's no amount of ibuprofen, marijuana, alcohol that will stop it. you just got to learn to live with it at some point.
The other question I had for you, so I've been, to preface this question, so I don't know if we told you this, Tumbleweed, but we documented the AZT. We're going to try to create a documentary from the AZT, and an environmental documentary. And there's a question I asked everybody along the trail that I just think in this moment I want to ask you. And it's, if Mother Nature, Mother Earth, could tell you something, what do you feel like in your experience on the PCT, or even now, what do you feel like she is saying to you?
Probably that you're not as significant as you think you are, and that your small time in this planet, this journey, this life that you have, is probably to tell the story, because you're not going to meet people like us. It's just true. So when you get an opportunity to explain how important the wilderness really is, that it doesn't need another parking lot, it doesn't need another Walmart, it doesn't need anything like that. That some towns have too many Walmarts, but not anything against Walmart. I shop there too sometimes. But it's just that some things need to stay wild, and it's probably the same with you. That it's our job to preserve what we can as long as we can, because it won't be here forever. The PCT, they're saying, is becoming unhikeable due to the fires. So there's a strong possibility that future generations won't be able to enjoy the things that we have, and that as responsible adults, as whatever political leaning you have, whether you be conservative or liberal, if you're conservative, conserve the land. If you're liberal, be liberal enough to protect the land. It's yourself, whatever you need, but care about the land. It's probably more important than you believe, and I think that our mother would tell us that.
Thank you. I love that.
I agree with that too.
Yeah. We've always said that you, Tumbleweed, are a deep motherfucker. I swear to God, every time Wesley and you, like, what you guys don't know is on trail, we get in these conversations with Tumbleweed, what we're literally doing right now. This is what our conversations would be on trail with him when we'd hike with him or camp with him. And every time Wesley, when we walk away, he'd be like, God, he's such a deep motherfucker.
Yeah.
No, I love it. Are you kidding?
I still call you that, especially even after our little Smokies hike. Yeah. With me, you and Deuces. That was a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
Deep motherfuckers.
What's a badass
question?
Motherfuckers? Go ahead.
Badass motherfuckers. Some bamps. Bamps. So you didn't get to hike the entirety of the PCT. What did you miss, and what's your, I guess, plan on remediating that? Are you going to go back and hike just that stretch? Are you going to go back and hike the whole thing in the future?
So there are three parts that I missed. A bulk of Oregon, which I have a vendetta against that one, but Oregon, I'm coming. Baden Powell, I missed that, and the climb up to Big Bear, I missed that. My plans to remediate that are to rehike the whole thing. I don't feel like going back and whatever trying to spend money to get there. I'll just redo it. Yeah.
Right on.
Maybe once when I get close to Jefferson, I'll do that whole roadwalk thing you guys did too. Hell no.
Hopefully they'll have it open.
Well, apparently it's reopened now. Once we finished that damn Frog Lake Trailhead, we heard like a day later they reopened the damn thing. Man. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Would not recommend that road walk to anyone. It was miserable.
Brutal.
Right.
But yeah.
But you got the trucks to honk at you, so.
We got everything except for the chem haulers and the gas tankers.
That was fun.
Yeah.
And a crazy dog, apparently.
And the crazy dog. BMT. So you tried to start it. You fucked up was it your knee or your ankle?
Ankle, right?
You're going back this year, right?
Yep. I'll be going back on the BMT October 5th is when I start. Got all of October to do it. So game on.
Hell yeah.
Last time I tried it, it seems to be like a low mileage. I do my low mileage, get fucked up, then have to come back, and then I'll finish it. But I made it like 15 miles, 7 miles on what was dangerously close to a broken ankle. No bueno, especially in that environment, in that terrain. It's rough.
Yeah, no.
So then the next year the hurricane came through, and I didn't feel like it was, wise to be going and taking resources from an area that's devastated. It's pretty selfish, and I try not to be. I am sometimes, but I try not to be. So this year I'm going to get it, and I'll get my through official.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
When does it look like you're going to do the CDT?
If my boss is listening, never.
Don't share it with them. It's fine.
Yeah. Maybe 2 years.
Okay.
Currently in the works of trying to convince a new hiker to start with that one.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Out of the fire into the frying pan. Might as well get your feet dirty at first.
Definitely.
But
if you can do that, you can do any of them.
dude, for real.
All right. So Tumbleweed, 2-part question. What advice do you have for people who are wanting to go and do a through hike? This is just generic individuals in general. And then the other part of this question is, as a medically discharged service member, what advice do you have for veterans who may be thinking about getting outside and doing longer hikes like this?
So for the non-military personnel, I think the advice I'd have is maybe stay away from Reddit and, all the advice that you'll get online of nonsense, and realize that everything you hear, everything you plan, everything you think it's going to be different. A
lot of fear mongering.
Yeah. Like, don't be afraid to start alone. You're going to meet plenty of people along the way. They're going to have similar stories and different stories to you. And the greatest thing about the trail is it's the old way of communication. It's the sitting by a fire at the end of the day, talking about where they had been. You'll get to know people in that way, in the old way. The weight, the pain, it'll all get bearable at some point. Don't quit on a bad day. Obviously, everybody hears that. But I'd say, realize that this is something you want to do, preferably before you do it, especially if you're doing the PCT, because that takes a permit from somebody else. Go out and do some week hikes, maybe 2-week hikes, and find out if this is really for you. The other two, not really, because they don't have permits, and do what you want there. But don't take it.
And you're not going to meet many people on the CDT anyway.
Right. Yeah. Get real used to your head, like being in your head and being able to like realize that all the things you think you're going to continue to think about, you're going to run out of things to think about, and your mind will start working on its own. It'll start absorbing the beauty that is around you. It'll start being, you'll become a different person. The person you'll start won't be the same you. Hope like you'll have killed yourself like 7-8 times on this trail. Like,
in a good way.
Yeah. All those people you used to be won't matter so much. You'll have different problems like knee pain.
Yeah.
Yep.
For the military personnel that are coming out, this is your country. You fought for it. You risked your life for it. You went over. You've done whatever it is you've done. Enjoy it. Be a part of it. See the land that's there. You have the ability to sleep out in terrible conditions. Shit, you slept in the rain. You slept in the mud. Half of us have probably slept on glass. So there's nothing you're going to sleep on out there that's worse. And you're actually allowed to use your gear. You don't have to just carry a sweatshirt. You can actually wear it.
Yeah.
Realize that you're going to be around people who haven't done what you've done or been where you've been, and they can teach you stuff too. Don't be so, I know so much because I'm a big tough. You are a tough guy, sure. So are they though. They're out there with you. Like they're doing the same shit you are. So don't go out there so proud. But you're dealing with mental illness. It's a hard one because if you're going out there to heal, you got to realize that healing's not beautiful. It really isn't. It's painful. It's disgusting. It's gross. It's going to cause you to say and think things you don't want to think. But as long as you're willing to push through it, and it'll become bearable to live with, and you'll have a way to manage it. As far as thinking that, and through hiking, you set your own distance. You don't have an NCO out there yelling at you, telling you that you have to do X amount of miles. You do as many miles as you want or don't want. It's your hike, man. So enjoy the fuck out of it. Just realize that this is the land that you risked your life for. So you might as well, in an attempt to preserve what's left of it, enjoy it.
I remember you telling me this on the PCT, and I took this with me on the Colorado Trail as well. But on the PCT, you said you would get up in the morning, you'd smoke a bowl. I'm sure that's changed. But you would also listen to The Man in the Arena by Roosevelt. And on the Colorado Trail, for almost the entire thing, I would wake up in the morning, and as soon as I started hiking, I would play The Man in the Arena on repeat for like a half hour. Do you still do that? And do you still think that that's a wise thing to do? Because I think it's empowering.
Absolutely. Yeah. The Man in the Arena is probably like the most powerful speech that a president gave, regardless of who he was or what he was. The important thing is that he said it, and the words are still true. The idea that there's going to be people are going to tell you all sorts of nonsense. There's always going to be naysayers and people who think you can't do something. You can't be this. You can't be that. You have responsibilities. You're a grown-ass adult. You've got, man, shut the fuck up. This is my life. I'm the one out here fighting it. I'm the one out here climbing these fucking mountains. I'm the one dealing with the snow. It's, fuck the naysayers, man. Like, there'll be a lot of them. And just because there's a bunch of fucking negativity in the world doesn't mean I have to add to it. And it gives me a chance to not only respect the shit that I'm doing, but the shit that other people are doing too.
Dude, that's so good.
Preach.
I also want to say, I just resonate with what you said. I think you said it, and the way you encapsulated it when we were talking about after a through hike, that like you can't really go back into society the same, and you can't really ever feel like you're a part of it anymore. Like, I definitely resonate with that massively. I don't want to speak for both of us, but I feel like we both feel that way. But it's just, I mean, I work in film, right? And I'm also, Wesley's chugging out of a wine bottle right now.
I'm taking shots of
Pinot Grigio.
Pinot Grigio.
But I think coming back, like in working in film, I remember, 13 years ago, 15 years ago, thinking this is what I was meant to do. Like, I'm really good at it. I'm supposed to work in film. This is forever for me. And I've gotten to where I have, and I've worked really hard for it, to where I now make a shit ton of money to do it. But when we did the trail, I remember coming back and really struggling, because I go onto a film set and it's just like so intense because we're doing all this stuff and we're just making magic and make believe and
intense about stuff that wasn't really real.
Yeah, it's all make believe. And so everybody's getting intense about make believe, and I would get intense about make believe, but just realizing like how much stress and anxiety I have in film, and going, man, I long to be on a through hike again. Like, I miss it, and it's a reset for me. And even because that's why I'm like, I'm going to do the collegiate loop. Like, I need to get away, because I still work in film, and I do love film. Not to discredit film, I do love it. I do have a brain that works great in it. But something shifted where I was like, I don't have to work in this anymore and be happy or fulfilled. Really, I think I feel more fulfilled when I am out in nature for long periods of time. Like, I was meant to be in nature for long periods of time. And I never knew what that was until I through hiked. And now I'm ruined. Like, now I just want to through hike. And I know we want to just through hike. And we're coming up against this, like, well, we want to have a kid, and like, time's a ticking on my body. So it's like, well, do we try to do the CDT or give it a shot, or do we try for a kid? Like, we're feeling this interesting pressure of society versus longing to be in nature and the outdoors.
Well, and biology as well.
And biology. But I'm always like, man, if we had a kid, can you imagine?
It'd be badass.
How we could raise that kid. Because there's not a lot of kids that think this way.
We'd if nothing else, we'd raise the kid to vote for nature, protect nature, pick up a piece of trash when you go into nature.
Yeah.
Like that.
Anyway, just wanted to say, like, I massively resonate with the way you said it. I'm like, yes, that's what I think. I just don't know how to say it the way you said it so eloquently.
Yeah.
And another thing for all those people who want to hike, when you get back, don't expect people to really be interested. They have no clue what you're doing. They're going to glaze over as soon as you start. Like, after the first 1,000 miles, they're not going to care. Like, they don't know how to put that in their lives. They don't have that perspective. So get used to a lot of glossy eyes.
Mm-hmm. You'll have plenty of people that ask you, but very few stay engaged.
Right.
And not to make this about us, but we had a lot of people ask us how the hike was for us. And after a minute and a half, 2 minutes of us trying to explain it, they would start talking about their own lives.
Work, stressors,
et cetera, et cetera.
I'm like, dude, we almost died out there.
Like,
that's really stressful.
Several times.
We were going across traverses that were scary AF. What are you talking about? You had a horrible conversation with your boss? Okay.
Okay, the world keeps spinning though.
Baby, there's like, the sun is hitting. Do you see this? You can't even see him right now. He's like,
I'm illuminated by heaven.
You're illuminated by Mother Earth over here.
It's funny.
Just his bright personality coming out.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Well, I've been petting Love for the last 20 minutes to try and placate her.
See, look at that.
Yeah.
He's trying to tame the beast.
I do think we have a few things that we could talk about for an environmental corner.
Yeah?
I know I keep telling folks I want to talk about the border and how that's limiting migration corridors for species. But, you've said a few things, Tumbleweed, in this podcast episode. And I think we can elaborate on that and just what we can all do as individuals who may or may not know anything about the environment.
Let's do it.
I think whenever I'm recalling the Pacific Crest Trail, that Washington was probably my favorite stretch of the entire PCT, followed by the High Sierras, which I know that's probably most people's favorite areas are Washington and the PCT, and then the High Sierras out there as well. But like Basecamp said, Washington is kind of a special place for us, especially around Mount Rainier. And you know what I really wish that I had had whenever Basecamp and I went and attempted to mountaineer Mount Rainier is a Leve Outdoors mid-layer. So if you go and check out the Leve Outdoors website, you see they have different types of mid-layers. You'll see stuff like, Alpha 90, Alpha 60, Alpha 120. These are different weights of the material being used for these mid-layers. And the higher the number, the warmer the mid-layer is. Cameron, who is the founder of Leve Outdoors, and also one of our friends and a sponsor of the podcast, has created these awesome varying weights of mid-layers for you to use, mix and match based on the needs and based on the season. He also has a few other really awesome pieces, like he's made beanies out of the same material. He's got a really, really lightweight jacket. He's got a hiking sun hoodie for you to check out as well. If I was you, I would take this discount code Yeti Walks into Basecamp, all one word, and go check out the Leve Outdoors website, because you're going to get 10% off of your entire purchase. By the time that this episode comes out, fall will be well on its way. At least it is here in Colorado, especially in Summit County, Breckenridge area. So you're going to want to have the right armory to equip yourself adequately whenever you're going out into the backcountry, even in the fall and in the winter months, depending on where you live. So go check out Leve Outdoors, use the 10% discount code, support a really awesome company who loves to support his local community. He even hosts a run club for his community, which is super sweet. If you want to try out a piece of Leve outdoor equipment, you can do so for free, actually. All it's going to take is a little bit of your time, because if you're hearing this promo right now and you shoot us an email over to yetiwalksintabasecamp@gmail.com with a story about, I just want to hear the coldest you've ever been. It doesn't even have to do with hiking. I just want to hear a story about the coldest you've ever been and what you did. And I'm sure it involves some type of beanie or something, but what you did to warm yourself up. Because doggone it, if you have one of these Leve beanies, he's got a 90 and a 120 weight for these Leve beanies. If you have one and you're cold, put it on your head, because it's one of the 3 major places that your body loses heat is your head, your hands, and your feet. Put it on your head and you'll feel almost instantly warmer. So shoot us an email, yetilegsandbasecamp@gmail.com, the coldest you've ever been. And if you were the first person to send us that email, you'll be the proud winner of a Leve Outdoors beanie. And if you do win it, I'll coordinate with you about what color and what size you want. But to an environmental corner.
Yes, well, I'm intrigued.
No pressure on that. For the environmental corner on this episode, we're not going to talk about the border crossing and the hideous wall that is inhibiting animal migration for larger animals. But today, Tumbleweeds talked about a few different things that I thought we could cover, and then we could cover like what we as individual humans hiking trails can do to better our environment. But 2 things Tumbleweed said. One, he was talking about the poodle dog bush coming in after burn scars or, large wildfire events in areas. So we're going to talk about the fact that there are opportunistic species that will try and initiate and inhabit areas after burn scars. And poodle dog bush is one of those different species. You'll hear oftentimes about opportunistic species like aspen or other types of vegetation or trees that love areas of disturbance. They'll start to re-inhabit those areas earlier than other things that might take longer to germinate and establish, like pines and spruce or other deciduous trees. But poodle dog bush is an opportunistic species that will re-inhabit an area after it's been recently burned. So if you see poodle dog, odds are it's been in a fairly recent burn zone within 5 to 10 years.
And don't touch it.
And do not touch it, which is what we experienced on the PCT. Burn scar, poodle dog bush. That was the bobcat fire. Mm-hmm. Where we saw a lot of that.
How many years later was the bobcat and then the poodle dog coming in? Like, what was the time frame?
I don't know the time frame for the bobcat, but what I do know is there was really not much other vegetation growing except for that poodle dog and a few like random shrubs starting to grow back in. But otherwise, the bobcat fire, that place is fairly nuked.
What does the poodle dog do something that helps like spread like plant growth or something? Or is this something that it does that helps, things grow back?
I don't know a whole lot about the poodle dog bush in particular, but opportunistic species tend to be able to thrive in areas of high sun exposure. So not a lot of shade, drought, not a lot of nutrients in the soil, things like that allow them kind of a leg up to colonize these areas and start to grow. And over time, you'll see other species start to re-inhabit these areas as well. When you see like seed dispersal, or if there's still seeds left in the seed bank, which is like the upper X number of inches in the soil where seeds could still persist unless the fire is so hot that it cooks them. But you'll see like changes in vegetation regime in these areas following a burn scar, 5, 10, 15, 20 years later. So yeah, I thought that was super cool to talk about. Poodle dog bush, don't touch it. But whenever you see it, it's most likely being seen in a burn scar area.
Which means there's growth happening. And that's good.
There is growth happening.
Because some places...
Not ideal for us, but it's still growth,
Because isn't it that some places the burns are so bad that there is no growth potential?
It could take a while because there's very little nutrients left in the soil, very little bacterial or fungal activity in the soil. And, whenever you see high levels of bacteria or high levels of fungi, it means different types of vegetation growing in the areas. Like bacteria, you'll see a lot of that in the soil whenever it's like a grassland area. Fungi is more forest. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of cool whenever you think about it because trees communicate through fungal networks in the soil, which I think is really sweet.
It's cool.
Other thing you talked about, Tumbleweed, sky islands. So sky islands definitely are little islands in the sky, especially whenever you see clouds or cloud inversions like that. They look like their own little mountain peaks floating out in the middle of nowhere. But on more of a scientific level, sky islands, or imagine an island in the ocean. So imagine like 5 islands in the ocean. They're all separated from one another. You can get similar types of birds and wildlife and vegetation on the same islands, but it's hard to spread it from island to island to island because they're separated by water. Same thing with sky islands. They're separated by airspace. They're separated by elevation. And so you got these different types of trees and vegetation and other wildlife that grow at higher elevations because they prefer, persisting snowpack or colder weather or things like that. And it's hard to get those different types of species populated on different mountain peaks at same elevations. And so they're basically islands in the sky. And that's where that terminology comes from. So yeah, basically what you said, but also there's a biological component to it as well.
Fine, get all
Sorry.
scientific with it.
Wait. Say that again. I couldn't hear you.
Say fine, get all scientific with it.
This is what Wesley's been doing with his career since we finished the PCT. He's become a biologist, ecologist.
Yeah. I looked at getting into the cryosphere, but that's like a really niche part of science, which is just, it's going to go away very soon because all the ice and the snow is melting anyways. Yeah. So I went into ecology, which is more of a generalist position.
So when you talk about the poodle dog bush coming up in the burn scar, is that providing, because I know there's different types of root systems that bring up different kinds of different nutrients from depth. Do you know anything about the root system for a poodle dog bush, and is that providing the ground cover so that it can start to grow the microorganisms that survive in the soil?
It's a good question.
That's a great question.
So I don't know specifically about the biology and the life history of poodle dog bushes, but I do know that there are certain types of vegetation. To put it plainly, they're nitrogen fixing, which means they bring nitrogen in and up from the soil, which is called the rhizosphere, the soil level with like the active biota and the nutrients that can be obtained by plants, the rhizosphere. So they can bring nitrogen up that is utilized by other types of vegetation. So those are colonizing individuals or colonizing species that you'll usually see following a catastrophic event. So not even just fires, but like, floods or avalanches or other type of events like that, where other types of species would have a hard time establishing. These would be the colonizers that then allow other types of species to come into those areas. So yeah, but specifically to poodle dog, I don't know. Yeah.
I wonder what eats poodle dog bush.
Right?
An asshole.
Something that can handle the poison on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Probably a lizard or a rattlesnake.
Boy, we saw on the Arizona Trail there were these asshole plants. They call them like cattails or cat claws.
Nope.
Boy, big ass thorn bushes, and they're just overgrown in a lot of the wilderness areas because wilderness areas have to be manually maintained. You can't take in mechanized equipment, right. Even a chainsaw. Yeah. So that was hard to deal with.
Arizona Trail was a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like it was like SoCal, but on steroids.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff I wish that I had known before hiking the PCT that I know now, and reflecting on the PCT, I'm like, oh, wow, that's actually really cool. Like whenever we were hiking through Kings Canyon and Sequoia National Park, we were hiking through some of the oldest and rarest trees that exist on the planet.
And we didn't even know.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the place where I remember sitting there thinking, man, I really am not that important. Like,
yeah.
Sorry, like that Kings Canyon was really fucking dope. Like the shit that they go through, trees growing on rock, just hanging out, the wind that kicks them, man, they tough. Like,
Insane.
I'm not. They are.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last part of the environmental corner I want to talk about is kind of just a personal reflection, and I'll go last. I want to hear what y'all say first. But what do you think you, as an individual person who loves to go out into the backcountry, can do to better the environment or better the planet? It's kind of a broad question, but you can answer in like a really nuanced way if you want to.
Damn.
It could be anything like pick up the trash or leave no trace principles or, you know, pee on rocks instead of grass, that kind of stuff.
You're going to have to hand me that wine first.
Tumbleweed, you want to go first?
You can go first. No.
I think when it comes to, I think that we could inspire others to see it. That being out in it is definitely like, because you've got all different walks of life that are people that go into the backcountry, from, you know, hillbilly hunters to liberal hippies. You know, we all seem to have a fascination with that. I think that inspiring people to take a walk out there, because even if you talk to your hillbilly hunters or just hunters in general, they talk about herd degradation and over the years and how there's not as many out there to hunt as there once was, and that's due to habitat loss and stuff like that.
Wow.
So, you know, building that connection with that, maybe if I had it my way in schools, you would at least take, you know, a month in your summer would be a course to spend a month in the wilderness. You know, I think that that's a huge responsibility that we as a society are failing, you know, our future generations in. And I think that that, you know, in and of itself could spark a change in thought. But, you know, instead of thinking that we deserve everything that's there, start to think that we have a responsibility for what is. But yeah, spending more time in nature, inspiring others to get out there and to be a part of it, and not letting the pressures of what shirt you're going to buy be more important than, you know, the plants that live out there.
Yeah, so there's been a shift from biological conservation to more of a biological science or a conservation science. And the biological conservation comes from a point of, whoa, we're seeing like massive drops in the species population count. We got to do whatever we can to get the number back up and worry about the repercussions later. Whereas the biological science perspective, which is newer, comes from a place of, well, we can't do any of this without public support, and we only get public support by proving what ecosystem services can be provided to that public that we're trying to target through trying to make this ecological preservation change. So that's like saying, hey, you like maple syrup. Well, the sugar maples are dying off. We need to do X, Y, and Z to try and preserve the sugar maples so that you can sustain the maple syrup, you know, demand that is meeting the supply, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of a really hard topic that you're talking about there, because you're talking about degrading, I guess, these ungulate populations that you're hunting, but there's a whole ecosystem that supports healthy ungulate populations, and there's, you know, human-made regulations that prevent overhunting. Yeah, it's kind of a tricky situation what you're talking about, but I definitely understand what you're saying. There's the liberal tree huggers and the hippie folks out there, and then there's the hobo hunters who are just out there to, you know, make a buck and find a deer and eat on it for a couple months. So
yeah,
there's no clear way to communicate to everybody at the same time. You have to change your verbiage for the demographic you're trying to speak to.
Isn't that true?
Boy, ain't it? We're going through this wolf reintroduction here in Colorado, and that's a hard one because it was voted in largely by, quote unquote, the liberal hippies that live in Denver and Boulder. And the wolves are being reintroduced in rural Colorado where the folks were more against than for because they have ranch land.
It's
So,
funny. The people affected
funny.
are not the people who wanted it.
Exactly.
And it's
Sometimes-
trying to figure. Oh, go ahead.
Sometimes you have to realize that some things just don't serve you. They just need to be preserved anyway. I think that's a hard thing.
And it's hard because the wolves that we talked about this in one of the environmental corners, why the wolves are healthy and good for Colorado. It's like they do create an ecosystem we need here because they were here, but they died off. And I think that the way it happened, and you can speak, Wesley, more into this, but you know, this got voted into law, and Colorado Parks and Wildlife was not ready for it. They didn't have a proper game plan to be able to facilitate these wolves on a scale that would help both the ranchers, the herds, the sheep. Like, they didn't have a proper game plan to figure this out because it got thrown in all of a sudden. It was like, oh shit, this has to be done.
Federally mandated.
It's been mandated, and now we've got to like figure this out in 6 months and versus like 2 years or 3 years, and really bring it into our system. And that's where it's interesting. You see the politics there, and you see how like they are trying to help the wolves coming in. They're also trying to help the ranchers and the sheep. Like, I feel like CPW has become this middleman that's trying to please everyone. And they're stressed out about it. They're like, oh my God, why can't everybody just get along?
So CPW is Colorado Parks and Wildlife, and the odds of wolves coming in from Wyoming and other wolf inhabiting states into Colorado is pretty high. It might have taken a little bit longer than the reintroduction would have allowed for, but it might have happened naturally. And it needs to be clearly stated that the wolves being reintroduced are Canadian hybrids. Like, we had 2 different species of wolves living in Colorado. Originally, there was more of a mountain dwelling species and more of a plains species of wolves, and they were both extirpated, which means they were hunted to extinction in the state for various reasons, largely because people fear wolves and they are a risk to livelihoods, which I totally get. And the wolves being reintroduced are a Canadian hybrid, and likely would have already come in from Yellowstone and Wyoming anyways. But now we're at this point where Colorado Parks and Wildlife, CPW, is having to reimburse ranchers and farmers who have livestock that are being harmed or killed by these wolves that are actually doing quite successful, might I tell you.
The wolves, they are doing. They've already created like 4 dens this year. Life will
3
find
or 4
a way.
dens. Life will find a way in Jurassic Park, right?
I will stand by that forever, Jeff Goldblum.
And yeah, I think the whole wolf thing is largely based on fear. Like, you've got all these people in these really metro areas that don't really come face to face with types of scenarios where they might come in exposure to a wolf and be afraid of it. But then you have these folks in rural Colorado, even where we are in Summit County, like, we would be exposed to such a situation. But then you have the other side where the fear is that these wolves are going to harm your livelihood, where you have sheep or baby cows being born, birthing season, and the wolves are predating on your livelihood, which is affecting you and you providing for your family. So there's definitely the fear component there. But even like when we go hiking with our husky, we'll have Loba, 100 feet in front of us, which she should never be. She should always be very close to us. But
we try.
She gets away sometimes.
She will not listen.
And
she's like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, and there will be people coming down the trail, and they'll stop frozen in their tracks because they think it's a freaking wolf.
They think she's a wolf, because she looks like a wolf. She does. She looks like a mini wolf.
Yeah, and who knows what their background is, but they're afraid they've encountered a wolf on the trail. So all these things come back to fear. Fear of your livelihood, fear of your own physical safety or that of your kids, or fear even from the metro folks who voted the wolves in that you won't get to see such a cool thing that used to live in Colorado and be a native species to the state.
Hallelujah.
So fear is really the root of all this, if you think about it.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Fear is a big driver for a lot of people. It seems
fear is huge.
It stops them from doing stuff. Fear is a bitch. You just have to fuck it. Like,
Don't be a bitch.
yeah, don't be a bitch.
Don't be a female dog.
Oh my God. I went on a long tangent there. Basecamp, what was one thing you would do? Or you
what a
you
deep
can tell
question.
folks. Yeah.
I think, honestly, Tumbleweed, you hit the nail on the head for me too. Because being in film, I'm such a purpose-driven person. And it's like, well, I have a skill in this area of being able to storytell in a platform. And to me, that's how I feel like I would get it across, is by... So that's what we did on the AZT. And now we're in post-production and we're trying to get it edited so that we can get funding so that we can put it on platforms. But I do think that when people actually see the beauty, the awe, the pain, like, I just feel like nature is everything that we encompass in life. And it is the greatest teacher for us as humans. It is the storyteller for us. And so I thought, well, why don't we take cameras out there and tell our story, boots on the ground, like just show the nitty gritty of every day through hiking, but not from a through hiker. You know how all these through hikers have these YouTube videos. And I was like, I don't want to do a through hiker story. I want it to be professionally cut. Like, I want this to be a story about nature, not about us. And so how do we tell it from the lens of we are experiencing it?
Yeah.
And because I'm of the same mind that if you can just get people to empathize with nature, they will then want to help. It's like, how do you get people to feel the emotion and the pain of what it's feeling? And we do that in films all the time. We connect to a film, we connect to a TV show, we connect to a documentary, and we go, holy shit, I'm not going to eat meat again because I don't want to see, like, I don't want to be a part of the cog in the wheel. And I just feel like if I can somehow figure out how to get funding to tell more stories on trail where people can see and then go out and just be like, yeah, I'm going to go do a day hike, that live in New York City. I'm going to go up to northern New York, and I'm going to go hike 5 miles. Even doing that, it exposes you to this world that is talking to you all the time. Nature always talks to us. We just don't hear it when we're stuck in a city. And when we're stuck in the grind of life, we don't hear nature talking. And so if we can just get out of the noise of technology, of anxiety and fear, and go into the beautiful embrace of Mother Nature. Like, it literally holds us when we're out there, and it talks to us and it caresses us just like a nurturing mother. I just feel like if we can somehow figure that out as humanity, I think that we will figure out then as a unity how to actually protect and preserve what we have. And it's getting people out of that that's my big thing, is realizing, because growing up in the deep South, I've seen what people like, and then living and breathing in film with LA and New York and Atlanta, like, people they're in cities and they're stuck inside of cubicle walls and apartments and their 9-to-5 jobs and their dinner reservations and their cocktails. And they miss, and not to negate any of that. That's great if it brings you happiness and joy. But also there's a piece that probably brings emptiness and a lack of peace. Yeah. And it does bring anxiety. Like, cities bring anxiety because it's productivity. What are you doing?
And you're hyperstimulated all the time because of all the sound and all the chaos. Well,
and I just think it breeds what are you doing? Because you have to be something in society or you're not enough. You have to bring something to society, and then you have to build the ladder, or you have to go up the ladder. And now you're something because you're making a certain amount of money. And I feel like through hiking just levels every playing field of thought when it comes to, oh, this is what I am in the cotton world. It doesn't even matter anymore because we're all hiking the same damn pass, and you're just as scared as I am. You're shitting your pants too. Like, who cares if you're a movie star? No one cares when you're out there. Like, no one cares. Like, you become a person that is literally inside of a mountain that has been here longer than we could ever imagine. And so it does just create this juxtaposition in our minds. But I think going back to this, my passion would be, how do I create documentaries, or how do we capture what we experience on trail and then bring it back to society to then motivate people to go and just taste what we are tasting, because it will change their lives, and they'll eventually go more and more and more, because once you get in nature, you don't come out.
The 3-day effect, right?
You don't. Like it's like the best love that you could ever experience, right? Once you have it, you never come back. Like you can never compare it to anything more. Like all of a sudden the cotton world becomes this illusion once you taste what we were like made to be.
Yeah. It's funny when you said in the mountains, I thought dwarves, because they live in the mountains.
They know something we don't.
Yeah, it's also funny, whenever I worked in the Forest Service, the terminology was we work on the forest, not in it.
Oh.
Think about that. Yeah. Also, the other crazy thing is that you have so much influence in film. And not to say you haven't worked your ass off to get where you are, but you know, you could have created these documentaries 2, 3, 4, 5 years into your career. Meanwhile, someone in science has to work 12 plus years to get their PhD, to even get a reputable paper together, to have it published and mean hopefully something to someone. So you have a huge position of power compared to, you know, folks of science. So working in a collaborative way with scientific folks would be cool.
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out, right?
I only have a master's. I don't have a PhD, so my opinion doesn't mean much.
That's not true. That's not true.
It is true, honestly.
So we've got the filmmaker, the scientist, and the blue collar dude. We got this.
You can build anything that you want. What are you talking about?
See? We could build it.
If you can do shit, I can do shit.
Fact.
Yeah, facts.
Fact. Okay, what is yours? Yeah.
Mine is just to pick up a piece of trash whenever you go and hike a trail or go outside.
I love that ours are so philosophical and his was very practical.
Mine is super practical.
Leave it to a science person.
Right.
Look, it's something that any and everyone can do.
You're right.
Like today, I picked up a Werther's like caramel chew wrapper off of the trail. The day before, I picked up some random like tab some ultra runner had left from their goo that they threw around trail. And the day before that, I picked up like 6 or 7 wag bags off of the trail.
I remember.
Yeah. So if you even pick up one piece of trash, hopefully, if people discontinue leaving as much trash and utilize trash receptacles at trailheads, eventually we'll get a clean trail. That's the hope.
Because there are ripple effects to having trash on trail.
There are ripple effects.
Wesley has learned.
So it depends on the type of trash being left. If you're leaving food stuffs on trail, then you can food condition animals to go towards, you know, human to go towards human food sources. Whether you're just leaving it on trail or whether you're camping out overnight and they're coming into your camp and trying to access that food source. If you're leaving plastics, those plastics can biodegrade over time, be it centuries, and they can get into your watersheds, into your soil systems, and they can cause problems with the environments and further downstream, not to mention the fact that plastics are known to be carcinogenic to humans, which means it can give you cancer. So be very careful about the single-use plastics that you use and how you dispose of that stuff as well. Yeah.
Yay. Even though plastic is in everything that we have.
Hashtag team everything kills you. Meanwhile, I'm chugging from a bottle of Pinot Grigio. Money.
Dude.
This has been a great episode with you, Tumbleweed.
I know.
Yeah.
Miss you.
I miss you guys too. Hopefully I get to see you, but this has been fun.
Your ass better be out here next week to Colorado.
You mean this week?
Well, it's technically next week because it's still Sunday, but
I consider Sunday the beginning of the week.
I guess it depends on what day you start the week at.
Tuesday.
CPW starts the week on Saturdays.
Jewish custom starts it on Mondays.
On Mondays. Okay.
Because Sunday is Shabbat.
Okay.
Well, no, sorry. Saturday is Shabbat. No,
Yeah.
they started on Sunday. What am I saying? Uh-oh. Sorry.
However,
Had too much to drink.
if you can find the time and the space to come out here, we would love to have you.
It would be amazing, even if it's not this week. I mean, yeah,
But this week would be ideal.
because Wesley will be alone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, and the next week I'll have to be on standby for whenever she finishes her trail, so I can't commit to a 20 to 30 mile hike like I can this weekend. And then
True.
we'll be on the Colorado Trail and the Arizona Trail and then
Yeah.
holidays.
well, you should come out to on October. Just go to the Benton McKay with me. We'll just do that.
We'd love to do that
I
too.
wish.
That should be
But
fun.
if you can come out once you get to Breckenridge, we'll cover everything else. It'll be great to see you.
It would be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Should we wrap up?
I guess we should.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're at almost 2.5 hours.
It's great. I love hearing the cicadas.
I
It's
know.
very feels like home.
We've seen daylight to sunset to complete darkness on Tumbleweed's end.
That's true. Tumbleweed, you know our little happy trails in, or
The way we end each episode with a happy trails.
so we ask everybody to say happy trails with us. And here's the thing: is Wesley, you just never know. Like, he doesn't tee it up well. I feel like, no offense, but
I do.
I don't know when the happy trails is coming.
You'll know.
So just an FYI.
But first, we're going to give thanks to all the people who are working with us. If you want to give thanks,
Give thanks.
give
Yeah, we'll
thanks
give
with a
thanks.
grateful
Oh my
heart. Give
God.
thanks to the Holy One. Give thanks.
Clearly, you can't tell we grew up Christian, can you? It's Jesus Christ, our son. Yeah.
Huge shout out to the editor. I actually don't know who it is working on this episode. Thank you so much. And thank you, Charlotte, for being our lead editor and coordinating everything with our editors.
I have a better idea.
What?
Thank you, AJ, Charlotte, Brooke, and Brynn for editing this podcast. And whichever is
Yeah.
editing this podcast, take out every name I just said and keep yours in.
Huge thanks to The Fire Once Lost for your music that you've allowed us to use for our intro and our outro track.
Yes, thank
It's
you.
called Appalachian Trail.
And if you have any questions for us or for Tumbleweed even, you can email us at yetiwalksintobasecamp@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at yetiwalksintobasecamp. You can DM us. Also, please like and subscribe to our podcast. If you enjoyed it, we would love to have that review. It always helps us to continue on
And if
with
you
with our journey. If you don't,
Tell us.
I guess you can tell us too.
Yeah.
Give us feedback. We want feedback.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would love to hear from you guys as we continue on. I know we still need to do a Sawyer and a Leve promo.
We'll do that after this.
Okay. And
If we ever see you out on the trail,
Here
the
we go.
trail is in a burn zone and it's covered in poodle dog bush. You might hear me out there on trail in a Kennedy accent saying, "The poodle dog bush has taken over. There is no hope for us all. Godspeed, God bless." But whenever we pass you on that trail, we'd turn back and look at you and we would say,
Happy
"Happy
trails."
trails."